from the world. You can't actually attack America. Now, what we can do is say, screw you, we're the entire Western Hemisphere, we have infinite resources, we can make infinite weapons, and you can never attack us, so we'll come and attack you. Do that. The problem then is you have division and corruption. So an empire in decline always suffers from corruption and division. Corruption just means that, yes, you've allocated $1.5 trillion to making weapons. But guess what? The vast majority of that will be stolen by people. Right? Division and nationalism, America will be forced to retreat back to the Western Hemisphere and will lose its empire. Right? Yes. America will lose the war in Iran and be forced to retreat from Iran. It doesn't really happen in a war. It doesn't happen to defeat Iran. It has to make Iran constantly in a state of chaos and war. It doesn't make sense. The point is to control points. Control points. These are the keys. This is what America must protect. What happens in Europe, Russia, Japan, everything they matter. Okay, showtime, folks. It's possible. It's showtime, folks. We're live. We're live from New York. It's Tuesday evening.
Happy 421, the real holiday. It's not this fake 420 shit. Corporate psyop. It's a psyop. I got this vape. So we did the 420 show last night, and I gotta say, maybe it was the most fun. Maybe this isn't a surprise. It might be have been the most fun show we ever did. I think actually. Gee, surprise, surprise! When you get everybody in the place smoking weed, like they have a good time. This place has nice heavy doors. I'm kind of surprised by that. I actually really like the doors here. Oh God, see, I thought this was gonna be a better. I guess I need to get closer to the window. Should I go out in the fucking living room? I see. I want that nice backdrop there. Trying to get that New York skyline. I mean, I guess as the sun goes down, you'll be able to see more. What's it look like without seeing out? Guess it's not that blown out. In any case, 420 show. I somebody gave me this vape actually. I had this vape already, and it's kind of cached, I guess. But I was making some joke on stage about vapes or something, and somebody threw their vape on stage. I don't know if they meant for me to keep it, but they never came and got it in any case. And I've just been kind of experimenting. I'm not a vape guy, disclaimer. Surprise, surprise, I'm not a vape guy. I don't really trust vapes. I think it's really strange that like anything with a USB port that you like put into your body, I think is very strange. The fact that like you plug in the cigarette to like the same fucking thing that like your iPhone gets plugged, that's just very weird to me. This feels like biotech. And so I don't really trust vapes. I think vapes are part of where society just went berserk. Society got too lit for its own good. You got too lit over the last like 15 years. And we FAO. We YOLO'd till we FAO'd. FAFO'd. We YOLO'd too hard and we FAFO'd. So, anyway, this vape is kind of, I'm just now figuring it out how it works. I thought it was just, it's a vape. How complicated it can be. You put it in your mouth, you suck on it, you smoke it. But this fucking thing is like a computer. It's got a fucking screen on it. It literally has like a fucking like touch screen. And well, I just noticed there's like three different cells in there. So I guess there's three different kinds of weed. You put your weed in there, select your player. It's like a video game. It's like a game and watch of smoking weed. I can't tell if it's out, if it's what. How can you tell? Who can fucking tell? There should just be like a percentage. If they're gonna put a fucking screen on it, let's see. Bat. Okay, so there's the battery blinkers. Don't know what the fuck. And volt. Do not know what the fuck that means. Uh, blue ice. Yeah, I just wish if they're gonna put all this dumb technology on it, why not put like a fucking health bar of the weed? A percentage for Christ's sake. So anyway, it's called a boutique VEV5 boutique switch. So it's like a fucking iPhone or like a Nintendo Switch, or it reminds me of like those electric cars that are not Teslas, whatever the fuck those are. So I don't understand the point of all this. Whatever happened to just rolling joints? It's like turn smoking joints into a screen. How can we make weed smoking another fucking app? Oh, I got a weed app on my phone. I just put my mouth in my phone. I suck on the USB cord, and you get fucking high, dude. It's like a dab rig. We turn your phone into a bong. You put the weed right in here, and you just you're stoked. No, that would actually be cool. I mean, this is Mark of the Beast. Okay, they talked about this in the Bible. This is not supposed to be happening, people. This is like a Kubrick was this was like in 2001. This is what they were warning us about. But it I mean, thank God bless it any whoever threw me that boutique Switch. I would never even imagine purchasing something like this. I'm so poor, things like this don't even exist to me. I live in a different universe than this, where it's just like, uh, I don't even walk into these stores, and so I don't look at their merch or whatever. And if it's not a $15 eighth or less, ideally, I was getting an ounce for $70. That was pretty cool. But then, of course, Trump happened, Trumpflation, and so I don't really go into these quote unquote dispensaries. Well, this is something I was sort of talking about. Might as well get into this. Maybe this will be my 420 episode. Yesterday is like, is the legalization of weed like a net good, or like why? Why now? And it's the government. So of course we can't really trust what they're doing, and like there had to be some kind of ulterior motive. Why are they legalizing weed? Why is it suddenly cool with everybody? When 30 years ago, Bill Clinton couldn't even admit that he had ever sucked the weed into his lungs. And now, now it's just like legal, and I think it's legal in Ohio. Is that true? It's decriminalized, I think. Definitely. It's like I don't know. Is it legal there? Do they have dispensaries in Ohio? I'm not sure. But it's legal, like almost everywhere, or in the military, right? Now it's a military thing. You can join the military if you've got weed. So they want everybody smoking weed. Hegseth wants you smoking weed. Rupert Murdoch wants you smoking weed. Well, I don't know why. Why now? Like, it can't just be that uh we're suddenly enlightened about it or something, I guess. Maybe it is just like, I mean, a lot of these things are just like matters of perception, and like something gets into the water. I mean, there has been a lot of people on TV talking about how absurd it is that weed is illegal, and politically there's been a lot of conversation about some of these weed laws are insane. These guys are in jail for life for like selling weed or something. It's crazy. California has, what is it, three strikes and you're outlaw or something like that. I don't know the exact. That's something the Democrats get criticized for a lot. Is that Kamala and what Biden, was it Biden's crime bill? They passed this crime bill that put a lot of black men in jail for selling weed or having weed, and now look, it's a fucking startup. Drug dealers are a fucking startup now. It's tech meets, you know, being a small time pot dealer. And at the same time there's been kind of a concurrent societal, or at least among the younger generations, kind of like disowning of alcohol. People are more health conscious about like the long term negative effects of alcohol and weed. For I mean, maybe it's true, but it manages to avoid those kind of like stigmas. It's not like cigarettes, it's not like alcohol, it's not gonna give you cancer. You can just smoke weed all fucking day, every day, and it's actually a brain vitamin. That's what my Uncle Pat used to call it, the brain vitamin. I'm gonna have a little bit of the old brain vitamin, vitamin green. And I don't know. It is just like kind of a joke. I don't know why I waited till I was 30 years old to become a stoner. Like, how did I not become a stoner in high school? I have no idea. I have no idea how it took me 30 years to become a stoner. But I'm also kind of over it in a way. I don't know. I'm sort of like reevaluating my sobriety. Maybe that's like not a bad place to at least be like half the time or something. I used to have a rule that I didn't smoke until 3 p.m. And that was when I didn't know how to roll joints. When I learned how to roll joints, that was like and wake and bake, right? Uh I mean, it sort of coincides with like the Trump era. I did just sort of be like, okay, you know what, fuck it. Let's systematically derange our senses. And I do think you get addicted to like it's an easy way to just like feel good. And there's something to be said for like leaving your comfort zone, or like maybe it's not, I don't know. Is it cheating to like just like toke up so you feel good all the time, or it gives you this, not that I feel bad. I'm not saying that I feel bad when I'm not high, okay? I'm not like a depressed person. I know I can be like gloomy or like negative or something, but like I'm not this is my $20 projector right here, by the way. That's like some real hothead shit, I guess. $20 projector. I dropped this thing like 15 times already, and it is going strong. It started to make weird noises or whatever, but we have to embrace the technology, people. I'm live streaming on my fucking iPhone 16. I've got an iPhone 13. I'm smoking a fucking hard drive here, and my joint has a microchip in it, and then I've got a fucking $20 projector that I literally watch every single day. I can't wait. I have one viewer. Thank you for watching. Why do I even do this? I guess my schedule is inconsistent. I don't really do it at the same time. I'm kind of like a guerrilla streamer. I just pop on at kind of rando times, and uh I thought I'd do a recap. So anyway, what the fuck? What happened at the 420? It just I don't know, it's just good vibes all around. And people are really digging into the performances in a way that, to be honest, has not really happened that often. Not that we don't have good performance, but there's different natures of performance. Like there's one thing about doing a performance that's like good, and it's well executed, and like uh it's convincing, and it plays the song right, or it delivers the lines or whatever it is. But then there's another level that you can get to that's more, I don't know, you break through to something that really has spontaneity, magic. I use the word magic a lot, and it is kind of just like a cheap, hokey word or something, but I don't know what else to call it, I guess. Emotion, feeling, it all sounds kind of vague. It's more, I don't know, like you just flow state, I guess, is part of it. There's some, you know, sinking into a deeper wavelength, deeper frequency, and that's always the goal. But it's, I mean, it's rare on stage, actually. I think that's what the Grateful Dead is about in a way. The thing that was really like the way that people talk about it, not that it wasn't always a good time for people, but there are certain shows when they sort of lock in and they get into flow state and they're just all on and they're firing all cylinders and the audience is a part of that and it just gets to this kind of quicksilver, more malleable, more kind of nuanced. You're really evoking poetry and spirit matter, and that's kind of the deeper experience. That's the point to me. The point to me is it is like this ceremony. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why these fucking rock and roll guys like still tour when they're 85 and shit, because it's like you can't buy that, or like that's what people are trying to buy. People are trying to buy this elated, euphoric, maybe it's like a euphoria, it's a ecstasy. That's like as human beings. I mean, especially with music, but I think with everything, with poetry, with comedy, with performance, theater, whatever it is. There's certain nights, if you do a show 20 times, a play, there's a few times, maybe once or twice, that something just happens. You can't even explain why. A lot of times you're hungover or something. And it's just like, wow, I wasn't even trying. It took, the spirit took itself. And let me go out on the balcony for a sec. Maybe I'll go out while it's still daylight. Look at this beautiful. I mean, the light in here is just insane. I'm a light junkie, I'm a light connoisseur. As a as a broke ass, it's one of the things that is free. And it's just available well, if you're lucky. But it's something that we're constantly, paying for. People want good light. It's valuable to be this high up, get that light. You go down to the street and it's just a whole other shady, it's different temperature. Just want to hit my vape real fast. My boutique switch. What am I? Let's see. I'm smoking Moonbow battery blinkers. I think that's half sativa, half. Well, who knows? I can't. None of these. None of this information seems to mean anything really. Just a gimmick. This is like the PC of vapes. I need like an iVape. Does Apple make a vape yet? Tim Cook just resigned. Maybe the new CEO will get on the iVape. Why doesn't Apple have like a consumer vape for the market? Um, I mean, what is an appropriate amount to vape? I really have no idea. Like, what they said it's 4 grams or something, whereas like an eighth is 3.5 grams, so it's sort of an eighth. But like, when do you know when to stop? Like with a joint, it's pretty clear. It's like, okay, we smoked it, it's over. This thing, it's like you can just keep smoking, keep smoking. It's like the online gambling of weed. It's like Kashi or whatever the fuck that site is called. Let me hit it one more time. Oh, I found this really nice chair on the street. Check this out. That ox blood wood chair. So I've got a chair out here. You don't need a lot as part of that beatnik poetry life. I prefer to sleep on the floor. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Nice little outdoor. So I'll be writing some poetry out there. You better believe it. Smoking weed. Weed poetry. I was trying to think of weed poets. Weed poetry is a genre because it's Poetry Month and it's 420. So, did Whitman smoke weed? Gertrude Stein definitely smoked hashish. This guy at the bar last night had hashish. Is that legal? Probably not. Who knows? What does the law say? What's the exact law? What's the verbiage on that? Thank you for whoever already liked this. I'm glad when people like things and I don't have to do anything. That's nice. We work hard for these 2 likes that I get from Bruce Halliday and Adam S. Thank you guys. It's just us, I guess. This is never gonna grow or anything, I don't think. It's gonna be, I mean, okay, so should we talk about politics for a sec? Should we get into that already? 420. I mean, what Trump eh, I can't even it's just like, you're the thing changes too much. They're fighting, they're not fighting, it's a ceasefire. He's arguing with himself. It's real. It's just like apparently he tried to oh god, do I want to start? Let me keep talking about 420 and then I'll get into Trump stuff later. People don't want to talk about that yet, do they? Probably not. Let's talk about weed. Well, let me close my open. I don't want my neighbors to know I'm a streamer. It's hard, to find space to do this. And sometimes, like people have hostility. They look at you with disdain. When I'm outside, when I have my selfie stick walking around the neighborhood, people don't love it. I gotta say, Central Park, Manhattan, people are a little more accustomed to it. This room has a weird ring. You hear that? Is that me or there's like a weird ah 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 distraction is an element of weed poetry, at least my weed poetry. I mean, I guess my poetry is like pretty expressively weed poetry. That's what I'm like self-conscious about, I think. So it was nice to have everybody else get high. I mean, I'm pretty much high, pretty much all the time, basically, really. I mean, obviously, anybody who watches my stream knows that, at least, by now. I smoke a lot of weed on the internet. And I don't necessarily know that. I don't know. I don't think it's like the solution or something. I think it's kind of funny, stupid, druggy attitude and culture being a part of it. Well, if you smoke as much weed as I do, I mean, which is not that much, but uh, you can't help but feel like you're like some stoner, like caricature or something. And what's wrong with that? It's fun. You're like the dude or, some fucking Inherent Vice, Doc Sportello. You're some Thomas Pynchon character. Suddenly it feels like we're in Thomas Pynchon world. We were living in Cormac McCarthy world for a little while. Now it's Thomas Pynchon world. Thomas Pynchon's America. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. This metaphor of, or not even metaphor, but just situation of one battle after another, Leo as this bathrobe wearing, pot smoking, kind of burnout radical, kind of, failure or mediocre or sort of like not, he's not this sort of fake movie hero guy. He's sort of like this passive pothead. he's still fighting, but it's like these are the ways that we fight, it's just like we're trying to find our own little peaceful existence where we can maintain our dissenting alternative lifestyles and points of views and whatnot. And it really is like a war. There's this police state, ICE, Trump, right wing, MAGA, the whole thing. Stand up comedy, uh, podcast, manosphere. It really is like a fucking war. And it's amazing, like the culture in this country has been like pretty much diminished over the last 20 years, especially. Even up until, the early 2010s, there was some sense of like, I don't know, some kind of respectable American culture. And now it's like, what? Kiss won the Kennedy Center. Or I don't know. It just feels like well, what do I mean by this? Like I hit my vape too many times. um I don't know. I'm just picturing things like Miranda July and John C. Riley and them making a short film for McSweeney's fucking DVD, Wolfen, whatever the fuck that was. McSweeney's had like a DVD short film magazine. There were DVDs. Um, and now it just feels like we live in this kind of like foam of content that's just advertising or like uh cameos or something. All it's just like this weird people just filming shit in their apartments. It's interesting, but it's like everybody's kind of isolated. It's like there's less group projects in a way now. It's like everybody's just supposed to be this like self-sustaining, independent entrepreneur of their own brand of, whatever the hell entertainment they're trying to do, comedy or just being hot. Uh, and so there's less like institutions and things to sort of like nurture big collaborative, projects. It's like everybody's just kind of like an individualized, atomized doing this, now. But you can make money if you're just like good, if you get an audience somehow, just yapping your fucking, individualized takes. Uh, so it's like super subjective, and there is something that's like almost literary about that in a way, the way that it is just like a monologue or an essay, but it's like extempore. Um, how the fuck did I get on this? I smoked too much vape. I smoked too much Moonbow or whatever the hell it was. Should I talk about these books that I read? Oh, I've been looking at. I've been reading mostly. I mean, it feels like I haven't been doing shit because I haven't been really going out or like I didn't do any open mics or anything up last week. I didn't do any shows. But I've really just been, I don't know, trying to recuperate and like reading, which like is not. I mean, reading is about the most antisocial, isolating actually. Um, it just feel or it just feels like what do I have to show for this? Like I didn't make any connections. I didn't go out and nobody saw. It's just like I've been at home reading and I read this book, Some Are Dead Birds. This is really, I mean, Ali Liebgott is really amazing painter. This is one of their paintings on the cover. put out my feminist press of CUNY, and yeah, beautiful painting. And this is an amazing poem. I would give it to anybody that like is going through like losing a pet. It's sort of about like the grief, and it's really nice. It's a good poem. Ali Liebgott is super talented in so many different ways. It's kind of crazy. Excellent painter, excellent novelist, excellent poet. And then the Dream Police, Dennis Cooper. I've been trying to, I don't know. Dennis Cooper's style is just very like, I don't know, rigid or something. And I've been trying to read stuff that's like a little more prose like, or like traditional writing, less like pothead, less dissociative, less disjunctive, less jumping all over the place and cheap thrills. A lot of my poetry is just kind of like it's been this kind of youthful excitement, energy, and I don't know. I don't I think I lean too much on like the getting old thing, but I'm trying to like shift into some gear where I don't know, I can read something that's going to like be a little more focused and transfixing to people. I think it's been important for me to push the way that I have, and it's a mode of writing and creation that like I will always use and like be tapped into. But there's nothing wrong with having something that like the audience like I don't know, kind of it moves with them. It's not just jumping all over the place and uh trying to be wisecracking or something. Like poetry is a place of like sanctity, heaviness, seriousness. It's not necessarily like this land of frivolity and like joking and meanness, sarcasm. I'm trying to follow this up fucking book. I found this at Dollar Rack someplace. Where the fuck was that? Uh Topos. Yeah, okay. So I walked, I live in this neighborhood now, or I'm here for a hot minute. And so Topos is like 20-minute walk or something. It's really not that far away at all. Topos 2, where I've never been before, and then Topos where I used to go when I lived in Ridgewood. And so the other day, and that's the other thing is I've just been trying to like center and place and reading, trying to feed. The idea with reading is like you're feeding yourself, m- I don't know, methods. You're feeding yourself, I don't know, it's just it's nurturing, it's feeding you something you don't even know what it is. But the thing you constantly hear is like reading is the best thing you can do to like make yourself better, or it's like a self-help thing. You got to be constantly reading. You got to read 5 books a week or read a book a week or whatever the hell it is. There's always reading is the best way to kind of get information because it's a little more vetted, it's weighed over, it's revised. If somebody takes the time to write a book and print it, it's not like doing a live stream. You can just sort of like, you know, rub one out real fast. I mean, you can do that with a book too. You can definitely rub one out. That's what most of my books are in poems. It's like rubbing one out. But in any case, that's not really what this book is. So I went to Topos. I went to Topos too, because it's like it's right on Myrtle or whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know what street that is, but it's in. That's an interesting little bizarre and kind of Rialto or whatever. Um, there's just a lot that I wanted to check out some of these, because I never come out here. I've been kind of like I'm just very anti Ridgewood, Bushwick. I just think it's so gentrify and just like it's really fucked up if you ask me in a lot of ways. But it's just weird that it's like there's just like two neighborhoods. There's the native people that live here that like it's their neighborhood and it's beautiful. It's beautiful houses. It reminds me of the short north in the 90s. It reminds me of like when I lived in the short north in like 94, 95, 96, 97. It's just the buildings are beaten up, they're run down, but that's kind of what's nice about it. You know, the feeling of time out here is like people just chilling. It's a ghetto. I hate to say it. Hate to use that word, and I don't mean it in a pejorative way because I think the ghetto is actually like a very soulful place. And I don't mean it like in a dangerous way because it's not a dangerous neighborhood either. It's totally like gentrified. But the soul of the buildings and shit, that kind of run down, they all look like sad clowns. You know, but I like that. That to me is it reminds me of the 90s, before the kind of real estate developers moved in and turned everything into high-rise glass, and bank lobbies and shit. And now it's like, I don't even know, food wonder, food delivery, fucking ghost kitchens. But then this neighborhood has the kind of glaze of these transplants that like really don't live here at all. You can really feel when somebody like doesn't have much of like roots here. You can feel when somebody can leave like that. Like they're really just like the top foam or whatever. They're like the top layer of, they're like a skin on top of like the real neighborhood. And they're, whatever, it is what it is. It's so hypocritical to me that all of these like super leftist art school kids or whatever, they all went to like these elite avant-garde colleges and they're avant-garde supposedly people, their identities, they're all, very like queer and progressive and all that. And yet they're completely bourgeois, like elevating the real estate values of the neighborhood. They're not connected to it in any way. And the ways that they try to connect to it are totally fake and kind of like put upon and like performative in a way. And it's just like they kind of walk around just like totally oblivious to the fact that they're like pirates. It really feels like there's like pirate ships, and it's like this invasion. It these and to be honest, I like a lot of these buildings. I really like this. I think this is like really amazing actually, which I'm really surprised. I've always talked shit about these new builds and stuff, but like there's definitely nice, I mean, it's awesome. It has, and a lot of these new builds are kind of surprisingly like tasteful and they do have like pretty small, I mean, it's not huge, but it's perfect. It's perfect for one person and um it's really an amazing thing. Uh but at the same time it's expensive and uh it just is a clash. There's the indigenous or whatever, the New Yorkers, and then there's these fucking this armada of goddamn corporate raider, like it's like they put a bunch of like fucking midtown office buildings that are apartments just like they just like shot up out of like here's like the hive mind of fucking yuppies who like, there's gonna be now the bodegas are gonna get way more expensive. There's gonna be like vegan plant options everywhere. And that's not gonna be like integrated into the surroundings at all. It's gonna like be very conspicuous. And it's just a real estate scheme. There's a bunch of boomer parents who decided this is where all our kids are going to live. It's on the L train, it's on the JM train. Somehow it's cooler to live here and than it is to live in like fucking Upper West Side or something. But I love it. I actually do think it's amazing. But I'm just saying that this is my sense of it as a gentrifying white transplant. Uh, I'm doing a land acknowledgement of my land acknowledgement right now. I'm doing a land acknowledgement of my condo. We recognize that this land traditionally belongs to the indigenous people of Bushwick Ridgewood. So anyway, I go to Topos 2. Topos is so successful they opened a second one just to check it out and to check. I wanted to go to Dada Bar. I haven't been there. I just wanted to kind of walk by and just scope out. It's like you don't really realize like what an advantage it is logistically. It really is like a war. Where like if you have a nice place to operate out of that's like strategically located, like I can just deploy. I do look at myself as some kind of like holy soldier of goodness and righteousness. And so I like deploy out into the neighborhood to explore, to just see what's out there. And but also like TVI is on this fucking street, I guess. So it's like it's a few blocks away. It's like, okay, right. If it wasn't $30 to get in, maybe I'd go there. Maybe I'll go there if they do something that's cool. Who knows? I'll keep an eye out. I never would have even thought about it unless one of my friends had an event or something. But now it's like there's all this shit right around here. It's like, fuck, I'll go check it out. I'll walk the fucking Three Diamond Door poetry open mic or let me check out Topos 2. I've seen people do readings there and shit. And so I go there. It's all new. It's all new books. And it's like a nice cafe bar, really cool. I'm sure it was some kind of, diner or something before maybe. But it was all new shit, so it's like I don't really care. I can't afford any of it. It's all ridiculous. Um but it was nice. I put my flyer up and then I went over to Topos, and Topos they have their broke ass used shit. And it's nice to see a place that still has a fucking dollar rack. And so I found this. It's an ARC copy, an advanced review copy from FSG of Henri Cole, The Other Love, who was my professor in college at Ohio State. I took a class, the poetry workshop I took in undergrad was with Henri Cole, who he's been publishing with FSG for like, fucking decades. And he's a big shot. I think he did the Paris Review, Seamus Haney interview. Harold Bloom said he was the most gifted poet of his generation. He follows in the footsteps of Elizabeth Bishop and James Merrill, and to some degree, Marion Moore. The way he uses animals, I don't know. So anyway, his style is contemporary, and it is colloquial, but it's also formal. He's able to strike a nice m- mix of the two, a nice balance without he's not avant-garde necessarily. He's not doing all this kind of like cut up stuff. His poems feel almost like collages in a way, but like they're very seamless. And his technique, he really is a master of nuance, and his poems feel like like Dutch paintings, or Flemish masters or something. They really feel like subtle. There's a touch, but at the same time, it's like so he's not like he's not Gabby. He's not like Frank O'Hara ripoff. He's not like this chatty gossip poetry. But there's definitely an element of just like it sounds like just a human voice coming at you. But it's not. I don't. His tone is. It's really it's a specific subtle difference that what he does. It's 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 there's elements of all this stuff, like there's elements of gossipiness or kind of silliness or fun. It's funny, a lot of it gets effect from these kind of unusual, kind of quirky, surprising metaphor, like he's constantly using animals. And I think that's one of the strengths is he's talking about, he's giving consciousness. to things that aren't other human beings. To be honest, he doesn't talk about other human beings that much. He's not that specific about that. He kind of talks about animals more. It's like all about barn owls and fucking mouse. First poem, mouse in the grocery. It's like every fucking poem has got either a flower in it or a fucking horse, vultures, figs, you know, but the thing about Henri Cole is like, I don't know, he's kind of been writing the same, not to I mean, he would hate the criticism of it, but it's like he's kind of been writing the same book for like 30 fucking years plus. It's like it's sonnets and like quirky little animals they're not like like totally cartoonish, but the way he uses them is sort of like, I don't know. There can be an elegance to it and a kind of a humanity weirdly, or like an emotive, like he's almost using animals as like these sympathetic, emotional kind of like forces or something. But so I don't want to rip off what he's doing, but it's also like you're just trying to. There's a reason why he's this big shot poet, because this, like I said, this tone he has, like a lot of other, I don't know, gay academic poet, male dude, like Mark Doty or something. They're a little bit too cloying or something. There's something about Henri Cole that's like he's almost like a stoner. He's not a stoner, but his poems have this kind of dreamy daydream quality. But he's also very serious. He's not frivolous, he's writing about things and he takes things seriously. And, he's able to be funny, but that's not really the fucking overarching. He's got all these poems, self-portrait as a with Mare and Foal. He's always been doing these self-portraits. And to be fair, the poems in the last half of the book, which I haven't gotten to, are like longer. They're not sonnets, so he's a master of what he does, definitely. And it is like very eloquent and kind of like it's kind of rarefied in an American way. He does write about politics. There's a lot of things in there, but he does it in a way that kind of weaves it in subtly. His politics are very like Obama. I think he wanted Buttigieg. He was on Twitter. I don't think he's on it anymore, but he was on Twitter. And I think he was like a big Buttigieg supporter. He's like sort of like a center left. Like he's like a gay kind of Republican. Like he's rich and successful, but like he's also like a gay man. And like, during his lifetime, there's been a lot of movement on that. And that's been part of the journey, I think, of that generation is sort of like living through AIDS and fighting for equality, marriage equality, and equality in the workplace and visibility, and it's amazing. It really is a triumph. I think that's something we can be positive about. I don't know how, you know, LGBTQ people feel about it. They probably aren't satisfied, but I think even within my lifetime, you've seen a lot of change among society's attitude towards gay people. And I think that is a positive in a big way. It's kind of gone overboard where it's like now everybody who's 20 years old thinks they're gay, or, the women do anyway. They all think they're gay and they all hate men. And all the men are doing what I'm doing. They're incels on the fucking internet. Or I'm not an incel, but so I don't know. Henri Cole's book when I was reading the Dennis Cooper book, I'm like, this feels a lot like Henri Cole's book, where it's like it's this kind of first person male talking about. I mean, the Dennis Cooper book is like all about the guys he hooked up with, and there's an element of danger in it, and but they're very like they're very like readable, legible. They're not like Henri Cole is not super difficult to read it on first passing. He's pretty. Anybody would listen to an Henri Cole poem. I'm like, oh, that's nice. This guy's funny and he's got a nice touch, and He's way better than Richard Sykin. But you can totally see how he's sort of like Elizabeth Bishop. He's sort of like James Merrill. He's in that mold. This kind of, like I said, Academy of American Poets, very rarefied, which I kind of have issues with that. I don't like this kind of ivory tower, like feeling that they're the ultimate masters of the art form. To me, I don't think Henri Cole is really a better poet than any of the fucking New York writers, really. He's not a better poet than Burnett Mayer, Alice Notley, or Anne Waldman, or I mean, I can see how like the publishing industry or like the powers that be, or just like the Academy sees that way. Definitely, like I said, he has a very subtle touch, and he has the career, like he went to fucking, he got a master's from Columbia and a master's from here and a fucking this and that. So he's like, he's degreed up and shit with all of the credentials that you need. He's won a Guggenheim probably, and I don't think he won a MacArthur, but he's up there near the top of like the people. He's friends with all these people. He's friends with Louise Glick and James Merrill, and I don't really love that kind of getting into these positions of power and just sort of like, I don't know, sitting pretty and having these kind of like lavish consumer lifestyles. To me, like that's not what I know that they would disagree with me. All of the rich, successful poets who are good at it, who achieved you know, their goals in the free market of ideas. Um, but I also think, I don't know, the system is rigged and it favors certain people, and you have to get lucky, and you have to kiss a lot of ass and kiss the right ass, and uh I don't know. I don't know. To me, I just have this kind of like fuck you streak that principles. It's called having principles, not just being some bougie sellout. And I don't know. There's things about Henri Cole's poetry that feel like a product or something a little bit. Like he's writing these poems that are just sort of like they're what he does, definitely. I think they're what he does just like naturally. He sort of found this form that works for him. He probably can write these things pretty regularly, pretty effortlessly, maybe, and then just sort of send them off to the fucking New Yorker and Poetry Magazine, and let's see. Let's read all the fucking shit that it was acknowledgments. I'm indebted to the editors of the following publications, where many of the poems in this collection were originally published. The Atlantic. Lana Turner, I thought was interesting. I was surprised to see Henry Cole and Lana Turner because that's a little bit more like avant-garde. His work would fit in with that. Like I think you could put Henri Cole's work next to John Ashbery and maybe even Skylar. I don't know. Skylar, it's weird. James Skylar, it's like they're writing about similar things almost in similar ways, or his appreciation of nature and his sort of plaintive, like just perceptive consideration is what the poem's about, but they're very different. And like I said, I think Ashbery could sit next to this, but something even like Kenneth Koch or Frank O'Hara just feels like very hyperactive compared to this. This just feels so like low key, and it's just he's able to get these effects in just like very strange ways, and he does not overdo it with like these kind of like extravagant word choices. But his politics like this: since a black president took the oath of office on Lincoln's Bible, America has been vibrating. So I pay my taxes and adopt a respectful manner. I haven't been told yet to get down on my knees. So it's like kind of vague. You don't really know, but wide is the gate that leadeth unto destruction. Like he's not like he's talking about Obama and whatnot, but like it's sort of vague. Like I haven't been told to get down on my knees. Like what does that mean? That's like ICE telling you to get down on your knees at some kind of police state. The poem is called White Violets, which I think is sort of like meant to sound like white violence. That's sort of what it's about. And there's shades of like it might be sort of a January 6th poem or something. But like I said, it's like it's sort of vague and it's so removed from that like it brushes on those things without really definitively, it's like that it's not like he's coming out and saying fuck Donald Trump or something. Uh Although I think he has poems that sort of come more in that direction. But like I said, I think his politics, he's been, probably like a beneficiary of like the Democratic platform. And, he makes good money ish. And so I don't know. He's a contributing taxpayer. I don't think he's like a, you know, leftist per se. Where does he stand on Palestine? But yeah, the Dennis Cooper book is a little more sensational and dramatic, or I don't know. There's more like dark, edgy. It's edgier, maybe. Unrecall is a little bit of that. He has a little bit of an element of like there's some kind of like sex life. There's some guy singing in a shower, but that's about as far as it gets. It's not like all about the fucking details of his personal life and his friends and shit like Frank O'Hara or something. Does anybody care? Why did I start talking about this? Well, it's poetry month, so I'm just, I got on the dollar fucking. This sort of goes, I mean, not that anybody liked my last fucking stream, but it sort of goes with what I was talking about with my last stream, where I'm like, I'm trying to tap into a little bit more of a legible, coherent, poetic style. And I just feel like my mind and body going that way. It's really, I feel quite as schizophrenic. Spaz. I don't feel like quite as big of a spaz. So this apartment is the highest. Like when I'm on this balcony, I'm kind of like the highest person in the whole yard in the whole neighborhood. So I'm like, when I go out on this balcony, I'm like, you know what? I'm the king of this fucking neighborhood. I'm the king of this fucking neighborhood. So this is my Mussolini. This is my Evita balcony right here. Time to smoke more weed. Going out my Evita balcony to sing Don't Cry for Me Argentina. Look at that. Check out the fit. Check the fit. Fit check here. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at those pants? See, now that's what we call style. Back in the 20th century, what we used to call style. Maybe I should do. I mean, now there's like fucking people who have YouTube pages that like literally they just go through like their fucking book collection. Maybe I should just do that. Just live stream. Like, I'll talk about every single fucking book I have for Poetry Month. Or should we start talking about Trump now? Are you guys ready to talk about? I guess it's been an hour. I wrote a piece the other day called Rear Window because I've been sitting back here and looking out at the yard, and it's very rear window. It reminds me a lot of the Slooge living in the back of that house. It's very similar to this, but it's upgrade. This is the upgrade. This is like the steroids. This is like the Slooge on steroids. Like with this building, you can see how it has kind of the same DNA as like these other houses. It's just a little bit more maxed. It's a little more looks maxed. It's condo maxed. It's the it's height mogging. I'm height mogging all the other townhouses. That's the white colonizers, right as a gentrifying colonizer. No, I'm like an anti-colonizer. I'm like subverting the colonizer. I'm occupying and preventing colonization, actually. Because if it wasn't me, it would be some tech asshole or some finance asshole or anybody who has enough money to live here is got to be a criminal. There's no way they got that money through like legitimate circumstances. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So this is what I want to talk about: how everything is a scam now. Like I think that's the lens that we have to use to look through Trump's politics. Let me, because this is kind of the main thesis of my whole thing today: is they're scam artists. Like that is their functionality. I think in a certain way, the movies that help us understand Trump the best are Scorsese movies, like Casino, Goodfellas. When I think about how Trump works, and I try to understand like what they're doing on a big scale, it's like it always feels like something from a Scorsese movie. It feels like something they did in the bust out they did in Goodfellas, or any number of the shit they did in that. The way he holds himself, it's all mafia shit. So I was thinking about Casino. Casino, there's like this part where they're doing the skim, right? Where they take a couple of like pennies off the whole toy take or something. This guy in Kansas City is doing some skim. And it's like he's getting rich, stealing a little bit, a little bit, a little bit every week. So they don't even notice. They're scam artists. This is how these mafia guys think. This is an important point. I don't necessarily want to make it while I'm smoking because it's hard to edit around this later for my clip farming. Oh, I do have a new vlog coming out. I'm gonna get back to this when I get inside. We're gonna talk about scam artists. I'm gonna start over, but um I do have a new vlog that I just finished. I can't upload it yet because it's literally 52 gigabytes. It's 4 hours and 12 minutes long. It's the War and Peace of vlogs. It's actually not the longest vlog. The longest vlog I put out is the 2019 vlog, and it's 5 hours, but it's literally an entire year. This vlog is 2 months. It's February 8th through April 19th. And damn it. This lighter might actually So this vlog is 4 fucking hours long. It's 50 gigs. And a lot has happened in these last 2 months. Everything has fucking changed. From my life personally to just like the whole geopolitical, 2 months ago we were not in a war. The whole Iran thing hadn't happened yet. Still talking about Epstein. Remember that? Remember Epstein? Jeez. That felt like decades ago. And it was blizzards. So I don't know. Part of the advantage of doing the vlog is just showing change, allowing it to happen incrementally, but showing it, at the beginning of the vlog, it's wintertime, there's fucking snow on the ground. At the end of the vlog, it's cherry blossoms on it's spring. At the beginning of the vlog, I'm sitting my ass watching fucking live streams on the TV at, Ashley's house. At the end of the vlog, I'm doing this. Huh. I mean, look at that. Isn't that spectacular? It's like I feel like Robert De Niro in Heat. I had a line in my poem about how I'm like Neil Macaulay in Heat. And because he lives in this kind of like soulless, empty condo with like this super sick view, and he's just like in his apartment by himself, like looking at it like this fucking amazing. Like he lives in Malibu or some shit. Just looking out at the abyss, eternity. So he's solid. He's isolated. He can't really have love in his life. He's this freak. He's this monster. The life he's chosen, he can't allow intimacy in. I don't know if that's my life. I don't relate to that part of it, but it's this interesting kind of modern vision Michael Mann has of man gazing into the mist or whatever from solitude, isolation. This is like yuppie. But I actually think this place has a lot of soul in a kind of a crazy way. I don't know. I actually think it's kind of fucking amazing. It's kind of a magical place. It feels like a French Garrett to me. Super maxed. Um, is this event? It's just you're not getting any sunset here. Was I getting sunset out here? Let me see if I'm getting sunset out here. Oh, I'm not. I mean, it's just, oh yeah, it is better. Fuck. Why is that better out here? Let me hit my vape real fast. We're brought to you by, what was I going to talk about? They're scam artists. There was something else I was just saying. Let me hit my vape. My memory aid. Yeah. Um, I think the vape gives you kind of like an all around kind of euphoria. Whereas like smoking gives you like this rush of like kind of panicked, like it's almost like autoerotically asphyxiating. It's like I feel so like tense that there's something kind of like I don't know. Sit. That's gonna be. Oh, I got 3 likes. Fuck. Sweet. Sweet. Amazing. Sweet. Okay. How's that? Oh, that's terrible. Fuck. It's terrible. This is work. Let me lower this. It's running and gunning here, people. You know the style. Okay. That's good. Let's try that. We'll try that. Okay. This looks like I'm at my desk. This thing is a nice desk. Supposedly, this counter, the marble came from the same quarry as Michelangelo's David. So it's literally the same marble here. Right. So it's kind of been my desk. So yeah, my vlog. I've been working my vlog, 4 hours and 12 minutes of I mean, you see the whole story. And there, I mean, the thing that's different about it is the reason why it's 4 hours and 12 minutes is because, as you guys know, as my viewers who know have been watching, I do a lot of clip farming recently. I've been really clip farming a lot. And so I have all these goddamn clips that just are part of the narrative timeline. And so this vlog is a little different because there's a lot of clips from this actually. It's really just my live streams, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely the best of my live streams, but it's like it's what I was able to get. There's certain things that I remember that I wasn't able to find that were probably things that needed to be said, but most of the stuff that's in my vlog is it's political. It's all about Epstein and the war and whatever, the specifics of everything that's going on. And so I felt I was watching this fucking because I got this $20 projector. So I was watching this fucking there's all these Godard movies. There's all these incredible movies on YouTube. You know, I talk about it all the time. But there's these I was watching these Godard movies. What is the one called? Something Du Foie. Two things. I forget what it's called. And then this movie I was really blown away was this movie Nouvelle Vague, which he made in 1990 with Alan Delon, who you know is in fucking The Leopard and shit. He's in La Samurai. He's one of the best movies. He's one of the greatest movie stars of all time, Alan Delon. And so I don't think he had ever made a movie with Godard until this movie. I'm not sure. So it's fucking on YouTube for free. And it really blew me away. I mean, Godard, to be honest, he might be my favorite director. He kind of it's his career is kind of staggering actually. I kind of can't believe that this one guy made I mean, I can, but he really is like a giant. He's as good of an artist of that era as any of these guys. You know, he's equal to Bob Dylan or whatever you know, the Beatles maybe in a certain way. You know, Godard is sort of equal to Picasso, I think. Like he just made subtle variations that are all masterpieces with such rapidity. And the thing that has sort of grown on me now that I'm older, or now that I'm ready for it, is like how political it all is. Maybe that's just because of the world, our the way our world has moved, the direction our world has moved. But now it's like, I remember trying to watch Tout Va Bien in like high school or college. It's the movie with Jane Fonda. And, you know, it's like, I don't even know what the hell it is. It's Maoist or something. And I literally couldn't even watch it when I was fucking in high school. I was like, what is this? This is not like Breathless, you know? Not that I was turned off by the politics, but it was just like the technique, everything about it was just like really different. It wasn't like this romantic. It was highly, but that's, you know, that is a testament to his greatness is he made all of these variations. Like a movie like Masculine Feminine is a lot different in certain ways than like Contempt or Pierre LaFaux, or, you know, fucking one of them's a goddamn musical. A Woman is a Woman. You know, there's a lot of musical, like A Band Apart. You know, it's just crazy. But then a lot of his later movies and shit are pretty fucking interesting too. I think a lot of these people, his later stuff gets undersold or undervalued, and it's like, you know, this Nouvelle Vague movie really was had a lot of like ideas in it, and like it was definitely about something, and it, you know, was really fucking struck. So the whole movie is like I didn't like I said, I wasn't watching it that closely. I was like, I like to put movies on while I'm editing and doing other shit, lately I can't sleep without the projector on. Literally, I put the projector on. It's almost like the dreams I'm having. I'll go to sleep and then I'll sort of wake up a few times in the night. I'll wake up and I'll hear like the soundtrack to some like Italian mafia movie, but I'm like still asleep, and then I'll go back to sleep and then I'll wake up and I'll hear like Andre Rublev is on, and then I'll go back to sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's like, Maurice Schittschool's Love is on with Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk. And so it's just like you're sort of subconsciously absorbing all of it. That's what I did in college. To be honest, like movies are hard to watch. A lot of the classics of world cinema are like incredibly boring. And you kind of, it's okay to do something else. It's okay to be on your phone. Honestly, it's okay to watch it on your phone. It's okay. I have two phones. So I'm watching it on my phone and on my other phone while I'm watching it. And I'm editing my fucking vlog while the movie's on. And so am I like really like sitting in a fucking theater and watching the whole movie? I'd like to. In a certain way, I'm like auditioning these movies. The movies that really grab you, you can't look away from. Like the movies, some certain movies like the pieces of art that you're like that you really love and like you really carry with you. I don't know, they just do that. They just grab you and they just seem to talk to you directly. And so this Godard movie, the whole thing is about like these finance dudes. They're all like these kind of executive class CEO. In the whole thing, they're talking about their stocks and this and that. So it kind of reminded me of Barbarians at the Gate. It was a little bit like a Polanski movie, Knife in the Water, or something, Repulsion, or what's that movie with Sam Neill? They remade that with Sam Neill and Billy Zane. There's some movie where they're on a boat and it's like crazy. It's a remake of something. This movie kind of felt like that. But it was about what the world was doing. The world was moving into this kind of like sector of just like everything is financialized, everything is owned by these big corporations, or it's publicly traded. Apparently, WrestleMania this year sucked. It was terrible. People were just It was so bad that I didn't even really hear that much about it, to be honest. All I heard was Brock Lesnar retired, which I actually thought was kind of incredible. I thought that was actually a really kind of a legendary move. Like Brock Lesnar, he is kind of like whatever the fuck. I don't know that much. He's married to Sable. He's kind of whatever. He is a real one. I don't know. He really has like this fucking. He's almost like some mythical fucking bison or buffalo or something. I don't know. He has this guiding spirit in him where it's just like if he hears that like something in him that tells him he needs to go try out for the Minnesota Vikings or whatever. It's like he does it. He's gonna go join UFC, and he won. He was like the fucking champion of UFC. Like how insane is that? That like the fucking world wrestling fake wrestling champion. Don't beat me up to protect the business or anything, okay? But how did that guy become like the legit UFC champion is like pretty amazing. I guess it makes sense. He is like a hoss. Brock Lesnar is like a super beast. And him and Sable are married. Do they have a kid? That's pretty nuts. And Brock Lesnar's daughter's like incredibly good at shot put, I guess. She's like she's got those genetics. Um I thought his retirement was fucking real as hell in a in he lives on his own terms. He's different. He's got a different contract than all these other guys. He's the only wrestler that got ads on his shit. He's got ads on his fucking shorts, and they let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He's Brock Lesnar. That's part of his aura. That's part of his mystique. He is this kind of just like wildebeest. And he's one of a kind, sort of. Like there's really nobody else built like that who can do a fucking shooting star press. you know. And will his daughter get into wrestling? That could be interesting. But he's also sort of had one foot out of the wrestling. He's different. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like traveling. He worked in a reduced schedule. He lives in the fucking wilderness somewhere in the middle of nowhere, like a cabin or something. And he's able to do that because he's such a powerful beast. But I thought the retirement that was kind of amazing. That was an amazing. That's one of the best WrestleMania moments, if you ask me. He just did it himself. I think he called it himself. I don't think anybody knew that was going to happen. I think he put the other guy over. He made it happen. And that's the right way to do it. Way better than Cena's retirement. And he put his fucking boots and his gloves in the middle of the ring and he did this thing. Oh my God, dude. That was so legit. That was so fucking legit. Brock Lesnar going like this, being put out to pasture. Heyman, you got to shoot old Yeller. Today's the day that we got to put down, put the horse down. Brock Lesnar, Brock. I mean, that was so fucking real, dude. That was like one of the most badass things that's happened in wrestling. Was that kayfabe? Everybody's gonna say it was a work. I guarantee you, all the marks online are gonna be like, the Lesnar retirement was a work. I know you talk. Nash is gonna be on there. The fucking nerds on the internet. So it was a work. Man, that wasn't. I mean, I don't even know anything else that happened about WrestleMania. Apparently, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Apparently, it was terrible. People said it was all ads. 2 nights. So this is an example of corporate and shitification, which is what the John Luke Goddard movie is about. And it's actually got a plot, like Alan Jalon is like this drifter. They pick him up on the side of the road. And he gets mixed up in all this kind of like high finance culture or something. These guys are all they're in a fucking airplane hangar. They're private jets. They're talking about, blah, blah, blah. So he's writing about like this real shit that was happening in the world, the sort of Jack Welch CEO, that evolved in the 80s. And now we live in this era where there's just like rampant financialization and the poly market thing is fucking insane. Now it's like people are waking up. People are starting to like talk about it, write articles about it. It's like I've been talking about this for a while. This is one of the things that I wanted to clip out. At one point in my live stream, I did a rant about betting, this predictive betting shit, and all these fucking apps, Kalshi, and what's the other one? Poly. I think it's just called Poly Market. Like a polycule, but for your finance, but for gambling. It's like it's gambling, but it's just like we're gonna gamble on everything. Anything you want to, you can bet on anything. You can bet on the weather. Like, wait, how is this legal? How is this a good idea? How does anybody think that this is like good or reasonable, or is this like really scary? People are probably watching this and be like, "Oh, that's scary." Matt Proctor's apartment is fucking scary. He has no furniture and he sits in the dark. Well, it's more about this. I'm trying to get this action. Should I get a different angle? I had like get it over here. Let's try this. Let me just put my back to the motherfucker. Let's see what that looks like. Uh, that's kind of dope, I guess. Yeah, that. I'm trying to bitch about poly markets. Maybe I'll just hold the fucking thing for a second till it gets dark. I can hold it. Uh, here I am. holding my selfie stick. There we go. That's pretty lit, actually. It's pretty good. Look at that. That's journalism. This is where I want to. So I do want to start to do interviews. That is something I'm going to work on. If anybody wants to be interviewed, I'd like to interview somebody maybe even this week. So maybe I'd like to do interviews up here. With this backdrop, against this backdrop, set the camera up over there or something. I don't have any, I don't have any furniture or anything though. It's gonna look really weird and sketchy. It's gonna look sketchy. It's gonna look sus. I would say that's what people are gonna say. Why does Matt Proctor have no furniture? And okay, so anyway, what was I saying? Poly market, betting on anything. I mean, don't we all can recognize that this is insane? Does anybody actually do this? How many people are actually no way is like gambling being like normalized among like young men, or like is this something, I mean, if they even get like a certain number of people to do this, then like uh it's bad for society and will fuck a lot of people's lives up. But like, are people actually doing this? Like, or it'll be successful for them if they can get a few people doing this. We're live from Bushwick here, people. Good evening, Bushwick. Uh, I just can't believe this is even legal. It's like encouraged, or at least like we live. To me, this is part of the just the Trumpification of our society. Is like, let's put a casino in everybody's pockets. Let's put ads for it every fucking where. Let's just like let's use our monopoly over the media to make this seem like it's reasonable and normal and just like something that normal people are doing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get on Polymarket. I'm gonna bet like on the weather. Like, I'll bet $5 like that it's gonna rain or something. Like, what is the value of that? What is the fun of that? I mean, I suppose I've thought about getting on it because like if it's about predicting shit, like this is something I've been thinking about with Professor Zhang. Is his channel is called Predictive History. And he said his whole intention was when he was starting a YouTube channel, he said the way he was going to try to get successful was he was going to make these big predictions. And if they came true, he would be able to get on Tucker Carlson and journalists that he liked. And to be honest, that is what happened. The dude manifested it. Like, that is the intention of his channel. He simplifies it. He says, I'm going to make 3 predictions. 1, the United States is going to do a ground invasion. 2, blah, blah, blah. They're going to lose. And 3, blah, blah, blah. He is like very concise and clear. And to be honest, it is the thesis of his channel. In the way that like Subway takes, the thesis of that is like they're on a fucking subway and they give a take. Like, predictive history. Like, he is predicting, and it's a good name. It's predictive history. It has this kind of like contradictory uh depth to it. It's Back to the Future. It's predictive history. It's almost like a poem title or something. And so I don't know. I guess we're living in a world where everybody's just on fucking eggshells about like what the fuck is going to happen next, almost like it's a goddamn TV show. What's going to happen to Tony Soprano? What are they going to do in the last episode? It's like we're all trying to predict what the fuck what is Trump going to do? What's going to happen in this fucking war? Is it going to be World War III? Is it going to be, you know, is Trump going to die? We're all trying to fucking predict because I don't know, we're scared. It seems like big things are happening. And we're all just looking for some kind of fucking reassurance or something, some kind of like vision in the fog of fucking history and wars. Like, who really is seeing. And so Zhang has some credibility because his predictions came true. He said Trump was going to win. He said Trump was going to invade Iran or something. I forget what the predictions were, but like all these fucking people like Piers Morgan and Tucker want to talk to Professor Zhang because he's branded himself in this way. He's branded himself. This is kind of dark now. If I turn the light on though, we're gonna lose the outside. Fuck. And I guess with Polymark, so I was just thinking, well, if it's a skill or something to be able to predict, like what's gonna happen. Like I have a video in my fucking vlog, or it's from February 19th, where I'm talking about how it's right when Trump established the Board of Peace. He established the Board of Peace literally 10 days before he invaded Iran. And so I'm talking about the Board of Peace, and I'm talking about like how he's going to nuke Iran and this and that. It's like it was 10 days before they actually invaded. It's like if I would have put money on which is what I was predicting. If I would have put money that like Trump was going to invade Iran, like I would have made money. So I'm like, I guess I can see to some degree like how a predictive market like rewards like something that's actually a skill. It's not just like betting on a football team or something where it's like you really don't have any fucking control over it. It's up to a bunch of jackoffs who like, make $1 million a year to like fucking play a child's game. So like uh that's kind of pathetic that you would even bank like a lot of money on that. But if you could bet on something like it's my own ability to predict the news or something, but I just don't see the value in like monetizing that. I don't see why. That seems to maybe this is just like the Catholic in me or something, but like my sense of gambling and everything I've heard in my whatever liberal education is that gambling on the whole is like a net negative. It's not a healthy thing to introduce into your town, in your society. It's like I mean, that's not even because it's like in the Bible or something, like it's a sin. Although, like, I'm sure there are definitely reasons why they talk about this shit in the Bible. This is why this is why Jesus was against the fucking usury and all the money lenders or whatever the fuck it is, the people exchanging, which is, I mean, what could this is the ultimate example of that is like, let's hyper monetize literally every single, you can bet on anything you want, basically. You can do it from your phone with like your credit card. So it's not even real money. And somehow this is like viewed as like a reasonable, like, to me, I don't understand it seems to me like that's really poisonous to just like, because people are going to lose, they're going to lose a lot of money. Like that's how gambling works. Like there are statistics to it. It's like I guess it's sort of like when I was in the early days of like millennial adulthood, some people who were like real mavericks, this was in the wake of like the 2000s poker boom, the 2000s ESPN Texas Hold'em World Series of Poker mania that swept the fucking millennial dude populace. Um, it was suddenly just everywhere. Dorial Brumson or whatever that guy's name was this shit was just everywhere. These guys were like famous, celebrity poker, and certain guys were able to make a living playing online poker. There was a guy I knew who was like brother of a guy I worked with who like that's how he made a living. Somehow his stones were big enough. or at least that's what he said. Who the fuck knows? He probably had rich. Well, I don't know. Apparently, that's how he made a living. And he made money. He made six figures or something playing online fucking poker. Like, I guess that doesn't look that bad. Yeah, you can see that. Looks nice. Okay. Yeah, I can just block that out. Okay. We'll work with this maybe. I'll try to get this to work. About here. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay. So now you don't have to sit in the dark like a fucking anonymous witness on 60 Minutes or something. Where was I? We're talking about online poker. I don't know. These predictive markets are so you can bet on everything. You can short everything. Well, this is what I mean by these people are scam artists. This is what they do. Like this is what their intention is. Like in business is to like come up with scams. Like how can we skim the till? How can we, you know, let's make them go to transition to a war economy out of nowhere. I don't know why he's doing that. We're gonna make the entire budget of the entire government $1.5 trillion be for the military. That's gonna go all to defense contractors, weapons manufacturers. Hit, it's a scam. It's a complete, and everything they do is like betting against fucking uh there's all these examples of Trump administration people, Barron, Harold Lutnick doing insider trading, short selling things, and that's all part of their fucking scam. Like he is jerking the market around. He knows how to do it. Get the oil price up, get the oil price down. I mean, that's one thing Professor Zhang was talking about was um, this war actually works to America's advantage because if they destroy the oil supply in the Middle East, then people have to get their oil from Russia. They have to get their oil from America. America has Venezuela's oil, so we can sell that. And so, although the war looks like some kind of quagmire or blunder or something, it's like it actually works to Putin's advantage, which is part of Trump's intention, and it does work to our advantage, even though it's just a big fuck up. We failed upwards, like everything these asswipes have done their whole life. Like, oh, they broke it, but somehow they're gonna make money anyway. And I think, it's the thing is, it's not really about Russia or America. It's about the oil industry and the people in those countries that like work in that industry. That's like they're the ones that are going to make shitloads of money off this at the expense of the fucking people in the Middle East, the Saudis or the fucking uh Iranians or whatever. Sorry, I'm not even on the fence. These Ant-Man's donuts are on sale, $3.99. So there's just the old fashioned, I like a good sure there's all kind of poison in it. Oh, I had four people watching. I can't handle all that pressure. I can't handle four people watching. I get too excited. I just spin out. I just two people, I don't know, I can deal with that. But four, it's like, oh my god. Too much pressure. I need to hit my vape again. So it's like uh so anyway, okay, so with my vlog, I was watching this fucking Godard movie, which is super okay, so then I put these fucking he made this series of shows for television in France in like the late 70s. And I forget what the fuck they're called. Let me look it up real fast. because it's actually like worth watching. It's on YouTube. It's a whole fucking like series. It's like I don't know, 10 episodes or something. Oh motherfucker, I'm not online right now. Shit. Damn it. Any case, it's like half the episode is like an interview, and then the other half is like I don't know, it's just weird like video art. It gave him a place where he could experiment with something that was like so he basically is like interviewing like there's this one episode that I watched where like he's interviewing this fucking guy who's like a farmer or something. He just goes to like the workers basically. So you can tell he's like obsessed with like them telling their story, and they all have like very strong educated opinions about like class, they're French. So it's like even though this guy like drives a tractor, he's like, the whole episode is him just like talking about his fucking like Marxist, whatever, like very nuanced political takes or opinions or whatever. And there's this one episode where like Godard is sitting there talking to the camera, and there's all this fucking text on the screen, and it's just saying it's all this. It's like a tract about economics, or I don't even know. Like I said, I wasn't watching it that closely. I was putting it on while I was editing, and so that's kind of what inspired me to put all of my political TikToks in my vlog because I'm like, well, Godard's movies, they're so. When I was young, I wouldn't say that turned me off, but like I didn't really get that, those words didn't really have anything attached to them because it's like I'm from the Midwest, Columbus, Ohio, like things like Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, those things seemed like these very esoteric kind of academic concepts. I didn't really know exactly. All that shit was kind of erased from our, like political memory or something. They didn't really want you to be into that commie shit. And so like, even something like masculine feminine, right? Is sort of like this show where it's like he's interviewing these characters. The whole movie is like these long takes of like these interviews where these characters are talking about this, and they're the children of what is it? Coca-Cola, something Coca Marx and Coca-Cola or something. What's the famous Godard quote about the generation of the youth? Kids in Columbus, Ohio, like really related to that. All of like the super hip kids on Washington Beach and Clintonville or whatever were like really into like masculine feminine. I don't know. That movie was a little too like lo-fi for me. I liked sort of the romanticism mixed with the sort of like, I don't know, high art ideals of like Breathless or something. Uh, but now that I'm older and now that we've been through sort of like a nationwide political radicalization in a lot of ways over the last 10 years, which I think is a net good. Now there really is like a class consciousness and a leftist space in this country. And I th- I find well, but also just like talking specifically about the structures of our economy, of employment, of how the society goes. As an adult, especially now, it's hard not to be dragged into some kind of like interest in that because we're so affected by it. Everything's so expensive. Our political life has gone berserk. And so now everybody suddenly is intensely focused on those things and trying to learn and pick their little philosophy out of whatever's out there. And it's more a part of like young people's identities, I think, in like a stated way, being like an activist. the cliches of that have become more, I don't know. I guess the identifiers have changed, but um but I also think that, we're going through this time of change, and particularly the the Epstein saga pivoting so quickly into this war. I wanted to include specific time relevant responses and detailing of those situations in the timeline of this, because I do think it's important. Like my show, in my poetry and things, like it's always political, but like I don't necessarily interject like a lot of my personal whatever. e- ex- Except in the instances where like things gotta hyper intensify and we're like at these weird like turning points, no pun intended. Like in 2016, like right around the election 2016, a lot of my scenes from life episodes become like hyper political about exactly what's going on at that time. The timeline of how Trump sort of like lucked into office, the James Comey leak, all of that stuff. The responses in the moment of the moment at the time. I think it's important to just like include that into something which, like, my show is not necessarily meant to be about that. It's meant to just be more like a lyrical poem about life, like your friends and shit, your friends and family. But, we are being dragged into a political radicalization. Not that I wasn't ever not radical, but I think now it's like now we're hyper. We're online listening to YouTube fucking uh, podcasts all fucking day about the news and people's takes on what's going on, and Professor Zhang and Chris Hedges and Jeffrey Sachs and Naomi Klein and the whole fucking. I wish Jello Biafra would make a fucking video. What would Jello do? Why isn't Jello on the fucking YouTube, man? We need Jello's takes. He was keeping me alive during the pandemic. And so with this vlog, it just felt like, you know what? We need to go expressly political. We need to document the timeline of this war week by week. I do think it's important to remember this stuff for future reference. You need to remember exactly how it went down, because history blurs a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it can be like a lot of the nuance and the complexity of the situation gets stamped out, and kind of just like whatever happened becomes like the law. And like with Iraq and Afghanistan, it's like there's a lot of revisionist history about who was against the war and shit. Most people were scared shitless, but they just forced that stuff, to happen. Uh, and so with this, I think we're at a hypersensitive, escalating timeline where it's like, okay, there's value to including all of these. I mean, with my live stream, I get about half fulfilled in any probably bit or whatever you want to call it that I am able to conjure up. But because you're just making it, pulling it out of the air, pulling it out of the air. And so when I convert that stuff to TikTok videos or something, it's not always the most fully. It's not like a John Oliver episode or something. I can't stand John Oliver. I tried to put on. He had an episode about the predictive markets or whatever you want to call them. And so I was like, I should watch John Oliver. Like why do I watch Bill Maher? Like I should watch John Oliver. Like, why do we watch Bill Murray? We don't watch John Oliver. I put John Oliver on, and 3 minutes in, I'm like, oh, here's why I don't watch John Oliver because he's smug. I don't like his accent. I don't like his condescending British uh presentation. So I couldn't even watch any of it. Even though I'm like, the information in this is probably right. That seems to be his whole. Oh my God, there was this woman on the train the other day. Oh my God, sorry. There was a woman on the train the other day who I sat next to, and then I look over and I realize she has a sling, one of those baby slings, and in the baby sling is her cat. And she wasn't like some crazy old lady. She was like my age, probably. She was like a millennial. She probably had a good job. I think she was going to her job in Manhattan or something. And like all these people in the train are like fawning over the cat. They're like, "Oh my God, like she's got her cat." And like I wasn't not. I mean, that's pretty cool. She had her cat on the train. It was, and it seemed pretty chill with it. But I literally sat right next to the lady, and then I looked over. I'm like, "Oh my God, she's got her cat." I'm sitting right next to the fucking cat. I didn't do that on purpose. I was just trying to sit there and read. I wasn't like, "Oh my God, I got to sit next to this cat and talk about the cat." And, "Oh my God, you're so quirky and amazing. You brought your cat on the train. What?" I don't know. And so they're like fawning over this cat, and they're like, "So what's your cat's name? What's its name? What's your name? What's his name? It's a he. What's its name?" And she was so fucking thrilled. She was so thrilled to be able to tell everybody when they asked her. This is probably why she brought her cat on the train, just to be able to tell people its name. So they're like, "What's its name?" And she said so proudly, "Seth Meyers." Of course, the lady who brings her cat on the fucking train names her cat Seth Meyers. The millennial, like Brooklyn, I don't know, craft beer drinking. She's probably, I don't know. She probably works for fucking NBC or something. Seth Meyers. Your fucking cat's name is Seth Meyers. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I just hate Seth Meyers. When I look back at how my life has played out and who were the winners and who were the losers over the last 20 years of my adulthood, and I see people like Seth Meyers and Jason Sudeikis and all the people who are the winners. And I'm like, I'm a loser. My life sucked. Compared to Seth Meyers' life, like my life was a piece of shit. And women love Seth Meyers. I hear women regularly like fawn over like how hot Seth Meyers is. It's like, I don't get this. This guy fucking sucks if you ask me, but what do I know? I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know anything. I hate this guy. I hate Seth Meyers. I mean, I do want to go on the record, and I will say this on the internet, and I probably will live to regret this. And maybe I've even said this before. I probably have. I had a joke. This occurred to me the other day, and I was just like, this is such a great joke. I opened with this last night. I came out, "Hi everybody, good evening, welcome. I'm I'm Timu Jimmy Fallon. I'm Timu Jimmy Fallon." That was my joke. I'm Timu Jimmy Fallon. That's how I feel in life. I'm Timu Jimmy Fallon. But in any case, I watch SNL with Huggy on TikTok. It's like every SNL fucking skit ever. SNL with Huggy is like one of the best TikTok accounts. Because they do it like according to, like, they just had a bunch of pot videos for 420. It's always like relevant to whatever's going on. And so SNL with Huggy is kind of a DJ of the historical timeline, like myself. I think SNL with Huggy is like an artist. The way that they post is like art. And so I see a lot of, like, you see deep Saturday Night Live skits that you'd never see on a best of tape or even on like a rerun. Shit from you start to see why Dan Aykroyd was like such hot shit. Like Dan Aykroyd really like built, and Bill Murray, to be honest. They really like Bill Murray really is an actor. If you watch him in a lot of these skits, like he is a good actor. He's playing the truth of the situation. I mean, he does it in a funny way for laughs, but, like, he's always, like, very committed and very, like, in the scene. He's not like Jimmy Fallon, where he's, like, sorta, like, laughing and breaking and shit. Like, Bill Murray really is in the scene. And Dan Aykroyd, the characters and shit, he's sort of there's a type on Saturday Night Live that, like, sorta dominates the show, like a Will Ferrell. Bill Hader is kinda like Dan Aykroyd. I don't know who would be the Dan Aykroyd now, James Austin Johnson, Phil Hartman. They just, like, do everything. Like, Dan Aykroyd, I don't know, he could write, he could and he kind of wrote the but any case, so anyway, I just wanted to go on the record as saying that, like, I actually and I know that he's like a Trump sycophant and is sort of a kiss assy, but, like, I wanna go on the record as saying, like, I do like Jimmy Fallon, actually. And maybe it's just because 'cause I'm a knockoff, maybe it's just because 'cause I'm like a cheap dollar store version of Jimmy Fallon. Like, he is clearly, like, if I were to try to be whatever he does, like, he clearly is, like, he already did it. He did it 30 fucking years ago. He's 6'2". He's super good looking. You look at Jimmy Fallon when he was younger, it's like this dude was, like, pretty fucking good looking guy. And it's like he kinda does it all. I don't think he's, like, necessarily like, he's definitely kinda corny, and he's not really funny per se. But, I think that he does a great job at what he's trying to do, which is like host bring this kind of New York. A lot of the shit that's on the Tonight Show, I see little clips. I'm like, I was gonna make fun of that, or like I had the same idea or something. So I do feel like I do like this kind of knockoff ghetto version of this broke, not on purpose. It's just like this guy's a more fully realized version of me. In the same way Bo Burnham is a more fully realized version of me. But Jimmy Fallon, I don't know. It's like the suit is dying. Have people heard about this? The suit is dying. No one is buying suits, no one's wearing suits. The suit is going to be like a relic of the 20th century. I don't know. Clothes in the future, I guess, will be more androgynous or something. But Jimmy Fallon, it's like that whole era of NBC was sort of like a throwback to whatever the 50s or 60s of broadcasting, wear skinny tie, suits that actually fit you. You have short, kind of cropped hair, kind of clean cut, the horn rim, like the MSNBC look. You got to get very serious, like Keith Oberman, horn rim glasses, or Chris Hayes got them. Does Lawrence O'Donnell have like big, thick, like Walter Cronkite glasses? Like he's in, it was sort of a Mad Men thing. It happened around the same time as Mad Men. And I don't know. I like all that stuff. I'm a white millennial guy. I'm a sucker for that best, Obama era optimism. I think like unleashed this kind of Kennedy throwback. Obama felt glamorous. Michelle, having them in the White House, having a black president, it felt, but Obama was very eloquent, and so it felt like this kind of era where it was like a return to American liberal 60s Camelot almost. The best and the brightest. And now look where we're at. The bold and the beautiful. The shit and the shit and the shittier. I gotta have some kind of fucking I'm gonna microwave something. What should I get? I've been eating too many microwaved pierogies. I get these Mrs. T. Here's some pothead. I'll clip this out for my pothead cooking show. All right, this is a 5-minute snack with Frankly Fabulous. Mrs. T. I don't know if she's like any relation to Mr. T. I suppose that's Mr. T's old lady who makes these pierogies. Um. So yeah, I'm a Jimmy Fallon stan. I like Jimmy Fallon. I mean, in the cultural landscape, I don't think he's like the greatest thing ever. Like, but you know, he's not as bad as everybody. Everybody looks at shit on Jimmy Fallon. It's like, and I get he's an asshole, but I think he does some. So there's a sketch on Saturday Night Live they did in the 2000s. It's called fuck, I can't remember what it's called, but it's him and Horatio Sands. He did a lot of stuff with Horatio Sands, the disgraced Horatio Sands, and it's a live stream. They have a web show at it's Hampshire College, I think. So Huggy was posting at SNL with Huggy because Hampshire College just closed in Massachusetts. Like I said, very timely. And so the joke of it is that they're live streaming from Hampshire College. Ha ha ha. People on the East Coast get that. These are like these drugged out Hampshire. I don't even know. I don't even know what they had you could major in clowning there. I think they have like a comedy fucking, but it's like this weird New England avant-garde. I don't know. I don't know what attracts people at Hampshire College. Elliott Smith went there. So I think that attracts certain people. I think certain people just go there because Elliott Smith went there, to be honest. But so anyway, I'm watching this skit. It's from Jimmy Fallon was on Saturday Night Live in 1998. He may have, when did he start? 96? Like that's fucking crazy that Jimmy Fallon has been famous for 30 fucking years. And he's a baller. What can you say? I'm not gonna hate on Jimmy Fallon. I mean, do I think that he's like the greatest host for the Tonight Show? He's more of yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He does the job, he's almost like an actor who's doing it, but to be honest, Johnny Carson was like that. Johnny Carson was a really good actor. If you watch some of those Art Fern skits and there's a skit where Johnny Carson does Hamlet. And he actually does Hamlet, and then there's like an ad. That's like the joke is like to be or not to be, and then there's like an ad for like Mako brakes or whatever the fuck it is, rent a car or something, Amco. And but what Johnny Carson is doing Hamlet, it's pretty good. It's like this guy could have probably. I don't know if he really would have been he probably could have had Jack Lemmon style. I don't know if he would want to commit to that much, but there was a period I've been fascinated by this time in Johnny Carson's career where he hosted this show, Who Do You Trust, which was a game show that he hosted in a theater on Broadway, actually, uh, in the 50s. And he hosted at this fucking theater. Now it's like Manhattan Theater Club, Helen Hayes Theater or something. It's still there. It's this brick. So I was reading this biography of Johnny Carson. They're talking about when he met Ed McMahon in his office and shit. It happened. It's on 44th Street. And so I was like walking over there to look at it. This was early. Carson lived in New York. He's hosting this fucking show. He's got his own theater. And some of the episodes are on YouTube. They actually have a few of the episodes. So I was watching them, and it's just interesting because he's a lot different. He's not as much of a comedian. He's really just asking a bunch of questions. He doesn't really make a lot of jokes. He's not as much in command. He really is more like a game show host. And there was a period where he was hosting this game show that he was also in a play on Broadway. Johnny Carson played a role. And I'm sure it was some kind of romantic comedy type thing. Apparently, Johnny Carson auditioned for Dick Van Dyke Show. they were looking for an actor to play Alan Petrie or whatever the fuck his name is on Dick Van Dyke Show, and Johnny Carson auditioned for it and was like in the running. So he was a little bit of an actor. In his early days, they said he didn't want to get typecast as a game show host. So he auditioned for stuff and he was in this play on Broadway. At the same time he was on this fucking game show. He would like host the game show in this theater on Broadway, and then he'd like run over and like be in this fucking play at night. And I don't think he was necessarily any great success or anything on Broadway, but that's kind of an interesting life, to live in New York and be fucking doing that. Experience maxing. So I was just watching these clips just to like, I don't know, just see whatever the fuck there was to be learned. I'm trying to figure out how to interact with the audience, interview the audience. To me, like I want to use that theater downstairs like it's like a TV studio theater or something. Or a Broadway theater, like the Ed Sullivan Theater, the way that Letterman's. It's kind of a weird thing to be like having a conversation in front of an audience that's like a theater full of fucking a Broadway theater. So ta-da, it's done. 2 minutes and it's done. You just throw that feta and cheese. Um, how the fuck did I start talking about this? How long of a stream do I want to do today? Well, I've got 4 likes. Maybe I'll do some predictive gambling. I don't know what I would bet on at this point. It's just weird to me because monetization, financialization of something, that's the word that I typically use. I don't really know if that is actually what that means, but it feels right to me. It's like it's like it exists in our mind or something, and it's almost like scanning your body. It's like it's creating an awareness that's not even there naturally. Like this predictive market of being able to like put money on like just whatever you want to bet on. Like it's not even sports. It's just weird, like this is one reason why sports exists is for gambling. Like it's always been sort of this like you have a bookie. It's just weird how everything in our economy is like a bookie now. Like that's literally what these apps are. They're bookies. That is what it is. They're putting bookies at work. And for that, if nothing else, I hate these fucking apps. Like, that's wrong. Putting mom and pop, you know, odds makers out of business. That's fucked up. Well, I mean, there's some mystique, there's some aura to that. Going to your, like that was something that it's sort of a guy thing when I was younger. Like these old guys, not necessarily my dad's age, but like my grandpa's age, they were just like different. They were men. And they all had bookies. And the bookie was like, like a guy at the bar or whatever had a book where he took bets. This is part of the reason why dads like watch college football and shit. It's not just about football. If it was just about football, like, who cares? Bunch of 19-year-olds fucking throwing a ball around. Like, no, it's about gambling. It's about vice. Like Buffalo 66. He wins like all this money or he loses all this money gambling on football. There was something that was just like very masculine about, but it was like kind of a secret thing, right? Like your grandpa had to like pay his bookie off because he like lost a bunch of money on the game. They didn't beat the spread. But it was like in the newspaper and shit. Like why else would the fucking newspaper put like the spread? Like this is the fucking newspaper. It's supposed to be like this whatever objective truth oriented organization. Gambling is illegal. These bookies, they had to operate like literally off the books under the table. They was illegal. It was illegal. It was illegal, right? Like Pete Rose kept out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball. Now it's like there's ads for fucking DraftKings during the fucking game. It was illegal. It was against the law, like for a reason. There's a reason why this shit is illegal. Like it's not good for people. I don't know why. I've never had a gambling problem. Maybe it's because I'm a soy boy. I'm like low testosterone or something, but like I've never been interested in gambling. Maybe it's because I'm poor. To me, it's sort of like a rich person thing, I guess. Because it's not real. Like there's no way to win at gambling. I guess there's certain people that are shrewd enough and smart enough and like edgy enough to like make a living as gamblers, like as high roller, whatever, fucking rounders or whatever. But like that never really occurred to me. And it just seems like one of those things you have to have a lot of money to lose a lot of money. And to make a lot, like anything, like any business, like being in the stock market or something. Yeah, it's like it helps if you're already rich. I mean, with gambling, like I said, I'm just not interested. Maybe if I like fucking got really good at poker or something, could I have like made a living playing online poker? I doubt it. But like when I heard that this other guy was like making a living playing online poker, I definitely thought, well, shit. I'm probably more likely to be able to do that than like learn to code, which is what everybody was telling me to do in 2009. Just fucking learn to code. Throw yourself into coding. Okay. Fuck coding. I don't even know. Thank God for videography. Let's just say that. Um, the true face of the internet, videography. Uh, what the fuck was I talking about? Gambling, bookies. Now these apps are just bookies. Like that, how it's so weird. A bookie has so much romanticism to me. I mean, that's such a evocative character, the bookie. It's such a, dad world. Now the old world is dead, I guess. And so now there's no more bookies, there's just draft games. They took all of the fun out of sports gambling. Now it's just like watching porn. There's no romance, there's no foreplay, there's no eroticism. It's just pornography. Just just transaction. And just get the money as fast as possible. Just cipher it out of their phones. Get them. What are they going to do while they're watching the game? How are they going to compete? Like Michael Jordan, what does he do now that he's retired? He gambles. It's the only way you can get that high. I don't know. I've never really competition or winning kind of scares me. I generally kind of shy away from competitive things. I guess I don't like getting beaten, but gambling, uh, when people said it was bad, I just kind of trusted them. And it's also just like a lot of work. Playing cards, I guess I can kind of understand. It's like smoking cigarettes or something. I just never really was interested. Certain people are, it's like they love it. Sean Penn, Jesus Christ, he's ready to die to smoke cigarettes. I've heard a rumor that the reason why they gave Sean Penn the Oscar for One Battle After Another was because he's gonna die, like maybe this year, because he has like lung cancer or something. Because he just smokes like all the fucking time. He loves to smoke cigarettes. And I mean, I think his performance was he is a good actor, but I think a lot of his Oscars are kind of like I think Bill Murray should have won instead of the milk thing and what he won for Mystic River. There was somebody else that should have won that year too. So it's like I do think Sean Penn is like a really good actor, to be honest. He is probably one of the best actors. Like he's in some ways he's probably as good as Philip Seymour Hoffman or anybody, maybe almost. But I think there's certain shit that I don't know. He's a Hollywood darling for some reason. The Academy like really likes him. I don't know why. I'm not really sure why. I don't dislike him. I like Sean Penn, but I guess he's into poetry. Does he have a poetry book? Probably. Okay, maybe I'll get off pretty soon. Maybe I'll do 10 more minutes. 2.5 hours. What else do I need to talk about? I really didn't. Did I make my point about scam artists? I feel like I really didn't make my point. My point is that everything they do is a scam. It's not just like fumbling or whatever. There's some back end thing that they're doing. And so studying like these Scorsese movies, studying The Sopranos, the way that those characters operate, I think says way more about Trump's way of doing things than definitely any of the other presidents. Or like watching Lincoln or something. You're not gonna learn anything about Trump like watching Lincoln. The Steven Spielberg, Daniel Day-Lewis Abe Lincoln movie. Trump just sort of like shatters all of those myths. To be honest, Trump just like obliterates any illusions America had about itself. Like, oh yeah, what a proud and noble experiment in democracy. It's like, no. America created this fucking ass wipe. Whatever, sanctity we may, sacred, if we hold the presidency sacred, Trump just kind of makes that shit a joke. Makes a mockery of it. Should I hit my vape again? Fuck. What else do I need to talk about? I'm gonna do 7 more minutes. I am gonna do like some kind of live stream where I just live stream like my whole day. Now that I've got some, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I want to experiment with just like live streaming the whole fucking thing. Because that's what these other guys are doing. It's what these fucking jackoffs like. Some of these streamers, it's like they never turn it off. Like they're literally just like on all the fucking time. So I'm open to maybe experimenting with that, or at least doing like one day just to do an entire day of streaming or something. I've had a few people who are fans of the stream. I've had a few real live streams recently where I just sort of turned it on while I was doing other shit, sitting on my ass watching TV. Or I live streamed that Blizzard, if whenever that was, a couple months ago. So yeah, if I can find a way to upload this new vlog, like I said, it's 52 gigabytes. I've got a new vlog that's going to drop. It's 4 hours long. So it's got everything. It's got the performances. Actually, there's a lot missing. There's nothing from Lou Reed Night, but there is Mr. Roboto. There's a lot in there. There's the clown show stuff. There's all of my political TikToks about Epstein and the war and predicting history, just to get it down, just to get it, embedded in the timeline for my own future reference. I would like to go back and watch my Trump episodes from 2016, 17, just to see, just to remember, compare. I don't know. It feels like we're in a crisis that I don't know, sort of fulfilling, culminating. People are, I see all this shit about like Trump's on his way out, he's almost done. People think he's going to die or he's going to get, more and more higher ups are talking about how he's unfit or removing him, he's mentally unsound. Apparently, and I don't, I didn't read anything that much about this, but this is how it is with Trump. It's like you see these stories like when Elon Musk got the black eye or whatever. You heard some story about it. He got punched in the face, or he got in a fight, or he got him and Scott Bessent or whatever. Like you just hear these stories, and you're like, you don't really know what happened. It's like kind of sounds maybe more tumultuous than they're letting on. But they were saying something about Trump tried to get the nuclear codes, and the generals like denied him. Which, if that is actually possible, like, thank God. God bless these generals. I don't know if somebody's just making that up, but they said Trump had tried to access the nuclear codes like this weekend or something, and they just slapped his hand away. So, it does seem like there is some kind of heightened awareness that he's like lost his marbles and maybe something will happen. They said Trump, they'll try a sneak attack. They'll sneak attack Iran or something. I mean, they did it once before. They killed the full fucking leadership. And this, I mean, whatever the hell is going on with this strait is just ridiculous. It's like they closed it, but then Trump is like, you can't close it. I'm blockading it. You can't fire me. I quit. And who the fuck knows? The thing that's really concerning to me is just how like all of this discussion of like the draft suddenly just came out of nowhere, and not only that, but extending the age of the military. This is a guy who ran on no new wars at all, right? He was going to end the wars in one day that there was. He was going to end Gaza. He was going to end Ukraine in one day, he said. There's going to be no new wars. No, now, not only is there going to be World War Trump, but they're going to institute a draft, which we haven't had since Vietnam, and they're going to draft 45-year-olds. Like, I just don't see. I guess okay, in a world where there is no other economy, like America doesn't have any other economy. This AI thing is fake. Everybody knows it's fake. It's not paying off. There's no way to really make money from it, supposedly. And so they need some kind of economy. America needs some kind of economy. Like there is no economy. They need to do something with all these young men that are just online gambling, apparently. And so they're gonna artificially manufacture like a world war to create an economic stimulus. Like, right, is that's how they got us out of the Great Depression, right? Was World War II. World War II created this economic boom. Somehow, I don't really get that. I don't really understand that, but I guess the war just scared the shit out of everybody and motivated them into getting off their asses, to it created this crisis where suddenly everybody had to just put their shoulder to the wheel and like all the manufacturers converted to like munitions factories and Ford is making tanks and Rosie the Riveter and shit. Women are going to work and making bullets, and you had to ration, you had to melt all your fucking whatever, steel or we had to melt all the silver to make bullets and shit. And somehow that transition coming out of the war into like this unbelievable post-war, I guess, because they had all these factories just like up and rolling, and Trump wants to convert us right to like this sort of old-fashioned manufacturing, these tariffs, and he wants to bring it. And so it's like the best way to do that would be to get a war to just kick everybody in the ass, drag us into some war that involuntarily that we don't want to be a part of without any kind of foreplay. And I guess that just like gets everybody into this like booming, bustling, working on a factory, working, making shit, making drones. They said they're gonna get Ford and these auto manufacturers to make munitions drones, and that's one way to artificially boost the economy and make something real out of it. I think it's sort of a pipe dream in the same way that like our military is all these aircraft carriers and all these primitive at this point. That's the thing about wars, is like the technology evolves. The war has changed like uh if the generals and shit are still using these outdated strategies, these big fighter jets and shit, these aircraft carriers, it's like we don't that shit doesn't work anymore. They have drones that do the same thing that are way more agile, small, cheap. So that's 21st century, whereas like so much of our thinking is from the 20th century. And I just don't really see how they think they're going to invade. I mean, it seems to me like they picked a fight with somebody they don't actually want to fight with Iran. They didn't expect it to like there be them to fight back like at all. And I think they want to back out and right, they want to go into Cuba next. That's something I think they can manage. It's a little closer to home. It's small, it's old, it's decrepit. We can just beat Cuba's ass. That would be a nice little ego victory for Trump to just go in there and take it over and he gets to feel like, but I just don't see this idea that the United States is invade Canada, Greenland, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, we want the Panama Canal, it's like how is the United States military going to manage all of that territory, hold all of that territory, govern all of that territory? Um, and this idea that like ICE is going to be, Trump wants the military budget to be $1.5 trillion. So theoretically, more of that is going to go to like his sort of like private security. And it's like, I just don't see them really getting people to sign up to do this. I don't see them getting volunteers to fight these wars, to invade these places, to hold these places. Um, particularly because his whole platform and his whole side is he didn't run on this. If he ran on this and that was like this coherent ideology that everybody on his side like signed up for was like, yeah, we want Trump to be president because he's going to invade Greenland, and there probably would have been people stoked on that if they explained it like Professor Zhang explains it, where it's like, look, if Trump could articulate it, Trump should just have Professor Zhang like articulate it for him and just be like, look, this is what we're doing. We're creating Fortress America because the future is going to be a battle for resources, and the United States wants to own all of the resources of all these fucking places. I mean, we already kind of did that with our neoliberal post-war imperialism, but now they like literally want to do that, where it's like, yeah, this is all going to be like our it's going to be our territory. It's going to be our country. We're going to invade them for some reason. We're not just going to like imperialize them through trade and dominating the sort of economic food chain. Like we're literally going to go there with our military and like violence and take it over and make it like officially a part of our fucking country or something. um there probably would have been people who see the strategy there, and based on what Professor Zhang says about what's going to happen this century, it's like we're in a race with China and Russia to sort of have spheres of influence, and this is the only way America can really compete by rogue diplomacy. We're just like we're pirates. We do hostile takeovers of every country in our hemisphere. I just don't really see the purpose of that. That seems like really uh belligerent. It's like a belligerent diplomacy. uh and is it really that dire? Like the United States really needs to do this to survive, or we needed to get Venezuela's oil. We're fighting to maintain the petrodollar supposedly with these wars, but at the same time, what we're doing is like driving the end of the petrodollar. It's like accelerating it. So that kind of makes no sense to me. Um, but in the same way, it's just the same story that they've been telling, where it's like it's all about oil. It's really just about oil and who controls the oil, and we want their fucking oil, and or we want to affect the supply in some way that it's a scam. The war is a scam. You know, it's just it's a way for them to manipulate the market, like everything they're doing. They want to affect so they can make more money, so their friends can make more money. And it seems to me like things like these predictive markets are just like it's inventing a place for people like this. Because if you know what's going to happen, you can make money in a predictive market. If you have some kind of inside information about what the fuck is going to go down, if the Apple CEO is going to step down or something, and you learn about it through whatever, you can bet on that and make money off of it. That's like sort of cheating. That's not really gambling. That's like rigging it. That's a fucking scam. And it seems like why else would they try to popularize this? Because there's certain people that can game it, especially these high up politicians and things who find out this information before everybody else. They find out what Trump's going to do or whatever the hell is going to happen before the rest of us. They know what stocks are going to crash. Well, now he's like directly affecting it. So much of his policies are literally just there to like move the market in some fucking way. Uh, and it's really I just like that's the biggest problem our society has is just like the way that we bow to the god of the market and supposedly the laws of economics, which is like this is part of what I'm saying is like when we shine a light on certain things and say this is suddenly monetizable, betting on anything, suddenly that's a market, that's a poly market. Like it's made up. It's just somebody, it's a racket. Somebody made it up as a way for them to make money. Like economic law does not have any actual science to it. It's a fucking pseudoscience. They made it up. Like there is nothing in nature that that uh applies to like supply and demand. There's no supply and demand in nature. Like look at how much fruit the trees make and shit. Like things just spawn. I don't know. Like I suppose in like mating, there's elements of like a market or there's like value. Certain people have more value or they're more desirable or something. Maybe in that sense, there's like supply and demand, but like it doesn't dictate how many apples get grown in a fucking forest. That's a totally we don't really like economics I suppose in a way is to try to I don't know it's like a way of like appropriating that or I don't know what it's bullshit. It's just something that we made up to make sense of like our system of trade and there doesn't really need to be that. If there's an endless supply and we're just like on the verge of that in a way. I mean, we already have an endless supply of like content type things. We have an endless supply of video, audio. You don't need CDs, you don't need DVDs, you don't need to go to a fucking movie theater. Once we get an endless supply of like robot labor doing the hard work, like in a certain way, the economy is just a way to like balance. It's exchange value, right? And it's just so weird to me that money it's like your labor is worth money and your time is worth money, but also like a house is worth money. And like every object sort of is worth money. And now suddenly like betting on anything is worth money. Like they're taking things that are like time and they're equating it to space and then they're equating it to like a hypothetical and then they're equating it to like it's like in it but it's within the sort of myopic context of whatever these people say it's worth. If suddenly the elite CEO stockholder class decides that David Zaslav is worth a $900 million bonus or severance package or whatever it is. It's just like suddenly that seems reasonable in our like economic system. Whereas like it's also reasonable to pay you $7 an hour to like dig ditches and like be totally miserable or like pay somebody in prison 30 cents an hour to make a bra. That's just the law of economics. That's supply and demand. It's like gravity. It's just like that's how it is. It's like it doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like it's a way that people try to make sense of things, private property, things that they hold valuable, their time. Somebody has to do the labor. Somebody's going to build the fucking houses or, cook the food or we have like an interreliant society where like everything's particularized. Some people are cooks, some people are construction people, some people are open mic hosts. Some people are live streamers. Apparently, that's incredibly valuable to society. Um, and to be honest, it's all arbitrary. It all can be negotiated. To be honest, the price of anything can be negotiated. There is not really like any kind of hard and fast. And if it's based on like desire, demand, that can be manipulated. That can be uh speculated. That can be created in people. That can be instigated. It's like you can drum up. That's what the whole advertising industry is for. It's just like creating desire in people. And now it's like there was a big story about how geese are industry plants, and there was some company that they paid to like boost them in the fucking algorithm, and it worked. It's like, yeah, I could tell the whole time they're not good. There's all these bots in the comments that like pile on about how geese is the greatest thing ever, and they're just not that good. They're okay, it's whatever, but they're not even as good as like the fucking Strokes, let alone they're not even as good as. I mean, they're probably. I guess I'd rather listen to Geese than like the National, maybe, but and I don't know. It's a lot of economic is putting like some kind of definite value on things that are like abstract or relational. It's an agreement between two people, and it's ridiculous how they act like it's this hard and fast thing, and there's a lot of manipulation, and there's a lot of coercion. How is it possible that we have record inflation and record profits at the same time? The cost of goods is higher than ever, and corporate profits are higher than ever. It's like, am I insane? Like, lower the cost. It's a no brainer. Lower the fucking cost. Like, they shouldn't be making that much money. It's totally obvious. That's simple math. Oh, wait a minute. The cost of everything went up and they're making more money than ever. It's like, what a coincidence. Wow, that's amazing. That's inflation. It's like, no, that's not necessary. Like they can clearly lower the price. They don't need to be making all that money. There's no reason for them to raise the price. They're doing it because the newspapers are telling us there's inflation and because there's too much money. So we have too much money. We need to. I'm just sick of trying to wrap my mind around this shit. It's driving us all fucking crazy and it's all fake. It's a scam. And rich people believe in it because they are winners. It's easy for them to exist in this system because they have power. Money gets things done. You can just throw money at a fucking problem. You can Uber everywhere. You can order food. You can travel, whatever. Get a private jet. See good doctors. It's just, it drives me nuts thinking about this shit all the time. And so, watching these fucking Godard movies, he's talking about this stuff. He's trying to make sense of it. He's paying attention to it. He's putting it in his fucking movie with Alan Delon and like sort of this like mystery novel thriller plot line. So it's like it's got genre in there. It's like he's really into like Raymond Chandler and shit like that. All these guys who are like the Ultimate Heads. They're all into fucking like Raymond Chandler. All right, maybe that's enough live streaming for one day. I'll leave it on. I'm gonna cook something, but I'm just too tired. Too 420 out. I need to hit my vape. So if I can find Wi-Fi, I'm gonna upload my 52 gigabyte fucking vlog. Hopefully tomorrow. I would have done it today, but I'm so partied out from 420. Let's see. Maybe I'll try. Okay, I'll try Frosty. That sounds good. Frosty. I'm gonna plug my vape into my USB-C port. I mean, I don't I don't believe in any kind of flavored vape. I think that's got to be bad. There's no way that can be good for your body in any way. We're not here for a long time. We hit no good John. Fuck. Maybe I should move into a streamer house or something. Does anybody know any streamer houses out there? Looking for a streamer. Streamer looking for housing. Maybe that needs to be my ad. Live streamer looking for housing. I mean, with the vlogs, I like to put them up as soon as they're done. You know, so I'm already kind of frustrated. That's like I haven't gotten it up yet. I wish I could have posted it yesterday. But like I said, it's 50 fucking gigabytes. I don't even know where I'm gonna go because I'm pretty sure the public library, I don't even know if the Wi-Fi there can handle it. Might just be too slow. I have no idea. I don't know where I could go to fucking upload a 52 gigabyte video. If anybody has any recommendations for super fast free Wi-Fi. I guess I could just live stream it. I can play it on my laptop while I live stream it. Maybe I'll just get fat like Orson Welles. Now that I'm old. Not for the methadone. Where is it? Where methadone? There's one way out here. Oh yeah. There we go. Live cinema. We had a patio at our apartment on Quay. The street I grew up on in Grandview Heights was called Quay Avenue. Quay. And we had a small little balcony. We had an apartment on the second floor. It was kind of like this, and I'm like, I love this place, man. I mean, it's just nothing could be better for poetry. I think this is like the ultimate poetry apartment. I feel like I'm on the cliffs of Dover. Let's try blue ice. God knows what they're. God knows what they're actually pending in our brains. Shit. Oh. Should I talk more about poetry? Let me talk about my books. Yeah, my one of my biggest regrets in my entire life is when I read at the marathon in 25. The last time I did it, well, I had a poem, and I was debating whether or not I should call it polyjuice or what I did call it, which was blueberries for president. Which even at the time I didn't really like it, but I don't know why I went with that title. I should have went with Polyjuice. Polyjuice was a better title, but my reading did not go that well. And in fact, I think it was just, the reading was so bad that that's why I got fired in a way. It just sort of bombed. I mean, it was not a good, but I should have called it Polyjuice because now there's fucking. I mean, that word has only become more significant. So that's one of my biggest regrets. Calling it blueberries for president. Okay, so maybe I'll read this. This is a piece I wrote the other day after reading all this shit. So I'm trying to, it's like an experiment with kind of a new thing. This is April 17th. This is that poem Rear Window I was talking about earlier. Rear Window. It was a nice moment putting bar stools there. Oh yeah, I need to get bar stools for out here. It was a nice moment putting bar stools there. Then tsunamis of life overtake us. They were on the marble of David, externalizing as to be seen. That was as far as we got. I don't find scenes because a computer could do that. It's like talking to people, which takes a lot of effort, even though I feel better afterwards. In a hurry, couldn't pace it, writing the money of global finance just to get something done. Then you send it to a magazine and put it in a movie. My dad does this thing where he drums the air with his thumbs slapping against his index and middle fingers so they make this thwacking sound like he's playing a drum roll. My air mattress is deflating faster, as I guess it is normal for them to seep through their skin, which takes time to stretch and find its true form. By the time I wake up, I'm halfway to the floor. Rain dashed us against the plate glass, thin and splished like pigeon shit. My tears are on the outside of my body, painting how I feel inside on the canvas of my face. There's graveyards live nearby, but I don't want to walk there. I made out in their death, and it's sad to me to still be here many years later and old. Leaves are greening in on the trees, blocking my view of the Manhattan skyline. I see a lot more neighbors here using their yards than I ever did in Park Slope. This guy behind me put up a tent so he and his pregnant spouse could sit in the shade all day. I can watch over the whole thing from my fourth floor balcony, sitting in an oxblood chair I found on the street a few doors down. It takes a lot of effort and hard work to finish anything properly. I'm not sure I ever had the strength and focus needed to finish a grand project. My life became too scattered, hurried, and multifarious, so I let the work drip out in husky micro projects, maybe closer to being not failures than what I was able to produce when I actually tried. It also coincided with Trump and the chaotic deconstruction of all familiar senses of meaning. RM noticed me and waved but didn't stop or take her headphones out, passing on a bench in front of Bow Bridge in Central Park. I had a joint in my mouth and probably looked really angry and startled with a jolt to see her, who it took me a moment to recognize. And when I did, it was serrated with hostility at my perceived status of her in the poetry world. Walking home from work with Paris Review tote bag through Central Park on the most beautiful day of the year, cherry blossoms all dead on the ground, trees ready for the season's action. Where should I go out tonight? No friends, far away from everyone. Long enough to Uber. You have to if you want to get out. They're doing two open mics nearby in this guy's basement that he turned into a comedy club. Ran out of rolling papers, forgot to buy more when I was out yesterday, now smoking the warning sheets. But the weed stopped making me high like that song I wrote. Or is this from my lung problem? A spray of new freckles exploding on my left arm. Obscurity seems mandatory in the big city market of bards. Now I just want to not force anything to happen. An insight will occur out of the birds. Clip of an interview with Bob Odenkirk on Kelly Clarkson's show where he explains the river in the van down by the river. Matt Foley sketch, which he wrote, was the DuPage River near Naperville, Illinois, where he grew up 28 miles west of Chicago. Grandview Heights was a small town in a mid sized city. It was a desert island in the sea, an oasis in the waste. It was a chunk of something nearby, a little New York City inside Houston. He comments on the picture of himself that he looks jovially corpulent like G.K. Chesterton. I thought I was supposed to strongly misread everything, so I did on purpose. These three models surround the world. Let's try to finish it today. Saw this documentary about young poet Leonard Cohen when I was around the same age. So I thought I'd try to write that way and be like him, walking 5 hours a day, writing the other half. The clouds are great Alps soaring like sky castles out the window of the alabaster palace. A Matterhorn of cool whipped air attacks the sailboats of blue. A Matterhorn of cool whipped air attacks the sailboats of blue, hanging in the outer space between earth and the heavens. The scabs on my ankles perforate my vision. Too much yeast in my diet causes my body to attack itself. The rain that has come has brought cooler temperatures which will last throughout the week. Living next to Central Park is having instant free access to the ultimate theme park of artificial pastoral relaxation. We both have the same favorite book, but somehow it doesn't make us friends. Need to read more further to get ahead of the others. Musing as the in-text is sinking. AF on the L train from Halsey. What does it mean to run into them? Is there anywhere that belongs to me? I could have bought a $50,000 HUD house in the short north and became 10% part owner of a video company in 2013, but I chose to do this instead. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm experimenting with writing complete sentences, I guess. Writing things that aren't just fragments. I have these beautiful notebooks. They're from Italy. They're made in Italy. They have these little birds on them. And I don't know. I was trying to write plays, and but I don't know. I just don't. I don't really like writing dialogue that much. I like writing it, but it's not. It's too much work. There's just other. It's poetry is you know. It's all you need. It's more than all you need. It's all there is. Everything else is just a lie. Well, I don't know. Studio on the air mattress again. So yeah, Intex is this air mattress. I guess they're meant to deflate. Supposedly, it says right on the side. See, look at this. It says, see, we've got the Intex right there, $11 at Target. Ordered online. Airbed stretch. It's not leaking. Okay, it's not leaking. Airbed stretch. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means. What does that mean? Can a scientist tell me what that means? Can the Mythbusters or Bill Nye or Beekman? I liked Beekman's World. Do we have anybody in the comments like Beekman's World? Beekman's World was the shit. I love Beekman's World. I don't even know why. I don't like dislike science, but it's just not really. I'm just not that fascinated by it. I don't. I mean, I'd like to know all of it. I guess I'd like to know more than just the broad strokes of why warm and cool and thermo and Newton's laws and all that shit. But um, somebody just explained this to me in layman's terms. What does that mean? Airbed stretch, it's not leaking. It just seems like such a bitchy, sassy disclaimer. It's not leaking, okay? That's in denial. That's like a big old denial right there. It's not leaking. It's not. I tell you, I can get it up. It's not shrinking. It's not. It's not leaking. I swear. It's not. I'm not bombing. Yeah, so it's not leaking. They stretch. Airbeds stretch, okay? I guess something about I mean, I have literally pumped this thing up probably every 3 hours. Well, not that often. Twice a day, maybe 3 times a day when I want to use it. I'm bed rotting in an air mattress. I guess that's why my sciatica is acting up. My leg has been hurting recently. I've been working hard for the people. So, I mean, the 420 night was magical. Like I said, that may have been the most fun open mic we've ever done, to be honest. It was just like people were really digging in. And I mean, Jesus Christ, there's just a lot of turnover in this stuff. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at the picture and I was like, how many people, who is still with us that's been there the longest? And I was thinking maybe Marie Christine. I think she may have come to like some of the early open mics. I think. I'm pretty sure she was there like maybe September, October of 22. And then but there's not many. I mean, a lot of the people who've been with us the longest are maybe like a year or two. Like Pemberton, I think has been coming since maybe like 24. And I don't know. I don't know who else. I mean, Gwen has been coming about a year and a half or something. Uh, but there's not really anybody left hardly that's been there since like the beginning. Matthew Silver, I guess, can't comes from time to time to time. He was at like the first one, but he was never like a regular per se. Um, and so I don't know. It's just interesting to see those kind of timelines of who kind of weaves in and out of. I don't know the ongoing festival of the arts in New York. I mean, that's just the nature of New York. I think is that it's not just transplants. It's like transients. These people are not plants. Like they're not being planted here. Like they're not attached. Like maybe some of them, I don't know. The people who can make a go of it, I suppose, but like a lot of these people, like they'll move back home, or when the shit hits the fan, they'll leave. Or, to be honest, there's just a lot of people who come here for a couple years. It's kind of built in. There's a lot of people who come to New York for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years or something, or less. And it's like they sort of act like they want to stay here, or they have the time of their life. They love it, but it's almost like New York is almost like going to a restaurant or something. It's just like this life experience that people want to have. And so it's like, oh yeah, I'll move to New York. I'll get some job for a couple years. I'll get some apartment, or I don't know. Now I don't know. Now it's like people's parents pay for that or something. I don't know how they do it, but a lot of people come here for college. They live here a couple years after college, then they leave. There's a lot of people who live here under 10 years. And so they're not necessarily transplants. Like they have a very tenuous connection. They're more like kind of embedded tourists. Because to some degree it is hard to like establish yourself. It's like that thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where he talks about he wanted to own a home in LA or Hollywood because then he felt like he really like had roots there. Like he didn't feel like he was in danger of being pushed out, which I think in these big cities there's some sense of that where it's like at any time you could just like uh you know crap out and have to leave the table or something. And so it's harder now to do that. I think it's harder to get ownership of anything. It's harder to get any kind of long-term lease stability. I guess if you had a rent stabilized apartment, that's like the most realistic situation that a lot of people find themselves in now. It's not really the same as rent control, but it's not terrible. It's better than predatory scam fucking real estate, which is a lot of it. And what time is that anyway? Where's my other phone? Where's my other goddamn phone? I microwave these meatballs. I'm sure any kind of microwavable food has got to be horrible for you. There's no way that it's like it's cheating. There's just no way nuking it using nuclear atomic energy. to like warp speed your food. Very strange. Very strange that that's even fucking possible, to be honest. Let's put a small atomic reactor in your kitchen and create like a small, nuclear warhead explosion to heat your food. Let's create a death ray in your kitchen, a nuclear death ray. It seems to be chill. I don't know. Do people get cancer from microwaves? It seems to be pretty. I mean, it's right in the middle of this apartment. The microwave is literally right in the middle. It's this huge. It's beautiful. Everything I've eaten in here, I put in that goddamn microwave. It's amazing. I love this place. Oh, here it is. Here's my other phone. Oh, there it is. Hello. 10:03. Fuck. I really do want to put my projector on, watch some goddamn movies. The thing is, I don't have a cable for this phone for it. Maybe I can find one. I can only watch my projector with this phone. I don't have total convenience. I don't have total. Uh, so this phone is useless to me right now. It doesn't do anything. There's no internet on it. No nothing. Okay, should we talk more literature stuff or more World War III stuff? More finance. I mean, the finance thing is just such a huge, and I hate these people. I hate that they get so much attention and they have so much power and they have so much money. The amount of the money they have is so disproportionate to everybody else. It's insane. It's like we live in a different world than financiers. Like they're the ones who have all the money. It's not a fucking coincidence. They're in the money business. Surprise, surprise. They have way more of it than us because they take it and they obsess over it and they write all these fucking rules that have nothing to do with any of us. Like the stock market has very little to do with any of us. So fuck it, who cares? Let's crash the fucking thing. I think as Americans, we should start to try to figure out ways to crash the system. Like, what can we do? What can we do to correct the market? There needs to be like a serious bubble burst in this fucking country in a lot of ways. And I think that we just need to make it happen. There's no leadership, there's no organizing. I really think they've decapitated like the voice of the left online basically. Like it's not coming through the mainstream media anymore. The mainstream media doesn't want to draw Trump's ire and lose their license or lose their jobs. And the internet is controlled. Like they're not showing us the protests. They're not. There's no leadership. The Democrats. Maybe they're coming out and speaking against this. I don't know. You don't see it. You don't see clips of it. I mean, what James Tallarico or fucking what Obama and Mamdani are reading books to children. I liked that image. I thought that was kind of an interesting moment. Mamdani and Obama reading to children. I think that's an interesting way to focus, on kind of the nuts and bolts of just like teaching our kids to read, you know, schools, the nuts and bolts of local government, community. How do we actually help communities? It's through things like this. That's really where it happens. I mean, Obama has experience with this. He learned this in Chicago and shit, and this is what Mamdani is interested in, is making his government work for New Yorkers and making New York a great place to live, making it an affordable place to live. He's very on message. His message is very clear, it's very simple. So I guess he would be one of the leaders, but he's very specific about how it's all about New York. He even said something about how he'll never be the president. He doesn't want to be the president or something. He can't be the president. He wasn't born here for whatever reason. He's just not legally, at least not now. Maybe they'll fucking change the constitution or something, but um I mean, one thing they talk a lot about on these apps and shit is like population replacement. Like to fight these wars, they'll just bring in immigrants. It's like fucking Gangs of New York. You can get your citizenship if you join the army. If you go to fight in World War III, if you'll go to die in Iran, you get to be a citizen. Um, yeah. So, but I don't know. The opposition to the war, it's everybody's opposed to it, and yet, I mean, I do think the public fervor and the public outcry is, causing them to not just be super gung ho about it and think we can just go in there guns a blazing and shit. I saw the fucking headline today: Trump approval rating 32%, as low as Carter's. It's insane to me that the world that we live in is as such that Donald Trump has basically started World War III just out of pure like delusion, pure like Alzheimer's, dementia, fucking old brain, neurodegenerative kind of like blundering. And no fucking attempt to, convince anybody, persuade anybody, even notify anybody. He did it just like he tore down part of the White House, just like boom, here it is. We're blowing them up. We're killing all of them. Surprise. Uh, he's so much worse. It's absolutely like Jimmy Carter is honestly somebody I wasn't alive. I don't really know what the fuck went down, but I think at the very least, I think he gets a bad like he wasn't that bad. He didn't cause fucking World War III. Like say whatever Jimmy Carter did, maybe Jimmy Carter was as bad as like George H. I mean, Jimmy Carter didn't start any fucking wars that I'm aware of. He was a peanut farmer. He divested from his peanut farm because it was a conflict of interest. They thought he was going to take money from the peanut lobby or something, or influence peanut legislature, peanut regulation. And yet, look what Trump gets away with. I mean, it's Jesus Christ. It's like the fact that the two are even in the same conversation is insane. Jimmy Carter could have been a great president, maybe if they gave him a chance. He certainly was better than Reagan when all is said and done, I would say. Amongst all of those presidents, Nixon, Ford, Reagan, Jimmy Carter was probably among the more chill, at least ideologically. I'm not exactly sure what went down. You see him get blamed for this or that. Supposedly he was the start of the neoliberal thing, and uh he just seemed kind of ineffective. There was inflation, there was a gas crisis, there was an Iran. That was when the fall of Iran happened. The hostage thing, which the hostage thing is all anybody really talks about with Jimmy Carter. How he couldn't free the fucking hostages. Reagan came and freed the hostages. That's why Reagan got elected. And Reagan kicked his ass. And it's like that was a CIA fucking setup. They didn't release the hostages on purpose. Just like with all of this shit, they time it for the politics so they can get their guy elected, like they did with Gaza, like they did with all of it, and Ukraine. They time it so it's going to hurt their opposition. So it's going to hurt the Democrats basically. Here's a good principle the thing about politics is like we really don't need to think about it this much. We really, because in our country it's so incredibly simple. There's really nothing you need to know other than like vote Democrat every single time. That's all you need to know. If people just did that, we'd never have to hear about it. Just vote Democrat every fucking time. The Republicans are always bad. It's always bad. Look at their record. Just look at the record. They fucking destroy the country. They drive up the deficit. They cause wars. They're always bad. It's always the same. So you really, there's nothing like, yeah, maybe the Democrats suck too, but that's all we can do. That's all you need to know. And so the fact that we spend all of this fucking time analyzing and thinking about and talking about what's Trump going to do and blah, 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 and the elections and blah, blah, blah. It's like there's nothing to talk about really. Unless you're a rich person, there's no reason to vote for Republicans. Unless you're a Christian conservative psycho who like hates abortion and loves guns, or like a rich person who just wants to keep their money, there's really no like pragmatic reason that you should vote for a Republican ever. If you're one of those things, good for you. Vote for Republicans. Or if you're white or whatever. If you're a white like landowner, maybe it's good for you. But probably not. I mean, generally speaking, the Republicans are bad, and Trump is bad for like most everybody. It seems like maybe his billionaire friends who are going to make money off of killing the rest of us or enslaving us, working us to death, you know. But there's really nothing to talk about. There's no analysis that need like maybe the Democrats aren't great, but like just vote for them every time. It'll get better. But here we are in deja vu all over again. What the hell? Was there something else I needed to say? There was some other point I was making. Let me go back to it. Okay, I'm getting tired. I should take a shower. I mean, that's the one drawback of being living here is that there's no hot water, which is crazy. The fact that you would pay like a lot of money to live here and there's no hot water, I couldn't. That's unacceptable. If I was actually paying like what it costs to live in this place, like I mean, there better be fucking endless hot water. It's a basic human right in American consumer society. It's hot water. You get it every fucking place I've ever lived basically had pretty good amount of hot water. Here you don't get any hot water, really. It's like okay, if it was some cheap ass deal or something. I mean, and it is. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, for me it is. So I'm not complaining. I'll take it every single time. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's part of the romance. All right, I'm gonna get off now because I want to watch some Godard political television documentaries about Marxism. I get it now. I get it now. When I was younger, I didn't get it, but now I get it. That's like the substance. That's the substance of a lot of Godard stuff. Is like he really is a great writer, and it's amazing kind of experiencing his thoughts and his texts on film, and the way he uses film is always innovative and aesthetically it's lo-fi as fuck. It's not necessarily like some giant, it's not Visconti or something. It's not like some epic elegant, I mean, I guess Contempt may be like that. All right, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Give me this to close out. Or I do 3 hours, 3 hour yaps. I do this a lot in my vlog. It's like I kind of do it too much. So hopefully I'll have my new vlog up tomorrow. 4 hours, get ready. A lot of it is recycled from the live streams. But I think even the people that watch the live streams might not remember it or it's just it is worth watching, revisiting again and again. Okay. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Oh, the new Weezer song, by the way, is not a new Weezer song. It's like it's some demo they've had for like a long time that they just finally like finished and released. So when I heard the quote unquote new Weezer song, it's like I kind of heard it already. Nothing really new about it to the real fans. So whatever, losers. There is no new Weezer song. Give us some real new shit we've never heard before. Come on. All right. Have a good night, everybody.